Hello and welcome to another See You Next Thursday, where I know we're about as welcome as a kiss from the head of the Spanish FA as we celebrate. But for fuck's sake, I'm gonna start again. Hello, and welcome to another See You Next Thursday. I know we're about as welcome as a kiss from the head of the Spanish FA, but we're back again. So celebrating Everton's return to greatness following their win over the league's bottom club, Donny Rovers. That's the EFL's bottom club, by the way, not the Premier League. It's a 92nd place team in England. Anyway, just like Harry Maguire and an England squad, we're stuck with Ed79 Seamus and Ed25 Bilbo Baggins. So how are you, Bilbo? Even though, because obviously Seamus isn't quite here yet, he's busy having his tea. So just me
I'm
and you
good, thanks, Tris. Yeah. Still celebrating Everton's win. The champagne's been flowing. I've renewed my passport for the European next season. After a great win.
Another October Premier League victory, where championship to celebrate. You'll be lifting the trophy again next month, like you did a couple of seasons ago under Carlo, yeah?
Well, hopefully. We have never seen anything so bad in your life, but at the first half, the worst performance I've ever seen in my life with my team. But Beto come on and he changed it, and he's our new saviour, Beto.
Is he? The great Beto?
Yeah, the great Beto.
Oh, let's just hope he is. I mean, things can only get better. I'm gonna do that. I had to stop it. It was too much. My auntie keeps sending me things like that. All kinds of variations on it. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. You've only beaten Donny Rovers, for God's sake.
Yeah, you got to beat what's in front of you. That's the thing. We're up and running now. The shackles are off. We've got some good players coming back. DCL's back for the weekend if we can get a game.
Is he back already? Oh, he won't get in though.
Yeah.
He's obviously.
I don't think so.
He's obviously panicking.
He absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah. The modeling's on hold while he gets himself fit again. McNeil's been back training. Another big boost for us. Harrison's almost ready to go. It's going to be a good times for Everton. Good times.
I think we should calm you down a bit. McNeil's just back in training with the team. He's not actually ready to go yet. And Harrison's just literally gone back into training away from the team. He's not actually even training with the team yet. So he's still...
Yeah, we know this. But they're not far off. I reckon the next 2 or 3 weeks, one of which is international week. And we're ready to fire. Shooting up the league.
That's true. We got 2 week break for the internationals, haven't we?
Yeah.
So that'll be nice. Not. I hate international football.
So do I. Yeah, hate it with a passion.
So should we actually let's discuss the Everton? Fucking hell! Oh my God, no! I was fine when I had it when I got it all wrong and it was going to the wrong YouTube account because as somebody I made a slight error setting up, tried a different bit of software and I got it set up wrong. I don't know what I did wrong, but it's sending it to the wrong YouTube account, so we had to start again. And I done all the intro and everything perfectly. Then, as soon as we go to do it properly, all falls apart. You think the extra practice of doing it again would mean I'd do it even better, but no.
That's a lot of this.
Yeah. So to start again. Should we discuss the England squad while we're waiting for Seamus to turn up? Because, he's
right,
it could be a while, couldn't it? Could be a long while with the meeting. Obviously, the big news is Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson are still in there.
Two of my favourite people.
Yeah, I'm not so surprised that Jordan Henderson's still in there. Because at least he's playing football. But Harry Maguire, I mean...
But that's why I don't like Southgate. He said he was going to pick players in form and playing for the team, and he hasn't played yet. He's in the England squad. What's that all about?
Actually, I think
The
I should.
man's just
Should we?
gone with.
I was just going to say, shall I actually read out who's in there?
Yeah, go on, Josh.
Yeah, goalkeepers are Sam Johnston of Palace, Jordan Pickford of Everton. How the fuck now was he getting? He's shit here. I mean, God. And Aaron Ramsdale of Arsenal. Christ, not much of a goalkeeping squad, is it? Let's be honest. Defenders are Ben Chilwell of Chelsea, Oliver Colwell, also Chelsea, Lewis Dunk of Brighton, Mark Guay of Palace, Harry Maguire of the bench, Fikayo Tomori of AC Milan, Kieran Trippier of Newcastle United, and Kyle Walker of Man City. They've got Trent Alexander-Arnold listed as a midfielder of Liverpool, obviously. Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid. Conor Gallagher, Chelsea. Jordan Henderson, Al Ettifaq. Calvin Phillips, how the fuck is he in there as well? Man City. Declan Rice of Arsenal.
Yeah.
The forwards are Eberechi Eze of Palace, Phil Foden of Man City, Jack Grealish of Man City, Harry Kane of Bayern Munich. Can't get used to that one. James Maddison of Spurs, that seems weird as well. Eddie Nketiah of Arsenal, how's he getting? He's crap. Marcus Rashford of Man United, Saka of Arsenal, Bukayo Saka, now he's a player. And Callum
Yeah,
Wilson of
absolutely.
Newcastle United. Jesus Christ, talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel there. He's another one he can't get in the team. He's just a sub. What is going
I like
on?
Callum.
Oh, no, I don't, it's
I
not
like
that I don't.
Wilson. Yeah.
It's not that I don't like him. It's just that he's not playing. He's a sub.
Yeah.
I mean, this is England.
Yeah.
This isn't like Finland, where you scraping around for anybody who's playing professional football, or Iceland and that. This is England. This is like one of the biggest countries in terms of football in the world. They should be able to find 11 players now, a squad of players. I mean, however many it is, 23 is it? 25? I'm not sure. 25, 25, they should be able to find 35, 45, yeah, any number of players really that are regular first team players for their team, rather than subs and backups.
It's not the greatest squad for me, I've got to be honest. I'm not a big Chilwell fan.
It's,
There's a few names there that I'm not happy with as an England supporter. When I watch international football, there's a few names there that don't actually excite me. Calvin Phillips, what's he doing anywhere near anyone's squad? Never mind the national teams. Absolutely awful player. I don't know what he offers. I really don't know. He's probably a defensive midfielder, but he's not very good at what he does. So why is he in the side? I
it,
just don't get that.
it does take up a lot of space though for players to have to run around.
Yeah, with the weights he's got on, yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not happy with that score.
it's a very strange. I mean, it just makes no sense because this should be the first. I mean, they've not put Raheem Sterling in, who started to refine form.
I'm not too unhappy about that. I'm not a Sterling fan either. It might sound as though I'm not a fan of anyone actually,
I
but
get that, but
yeah,
when you look
I
at it
mean,
compared to how can Eddie Nketiah and Callum Wilson be in there as strikers when they can't get in there? Eddie Nketiah is only playing because Jesus is injured. And he's not even
yeah.
particularly good. He's not done a good job. I don't understand how he's anywhere near there. Obviously, there's
You
Calvin
seem to
Phillips.
pick players, they pick players who are mainly in London clubs, I think. I think that's the premise of what he picks his side on. The likes of Madison, I'm not a fan of Madison, really. I think he's a bit of a Mars bar. I
Oh,
don't he offers a great deal, bar for set pieces.
mm,
He's not a bad player, but he's not what you call an international for me.
do you think so? I think his attitude's honking. That's his problem. But as a player, he's
Yeah,
excellent. He's one of the best
do you
players.
think
It's
so?
just, yeah, he creates chances galore, but he's just such a knob. You know what I mean? He's like Phil Foden and Jack Grealish and that. They're the kind of people you just think, oh, dickhead. You know?
I like Foden as a player. not much as a person, but I do like him as a player. I think he offers quite a bit. And Grealish, he dives too much for me, but there you go.
I mean, clearly you've got Harry Kane. The ones you can't argue with: Harry Kane,
Yeah,
Bukayo Saka, even.
yeah,
Can't argue with that at
yeah.
all. Declan Rice,
Great player. Yeah,
Jude Bellingham. Walk into any team in the world, literally, he is the definition of world class for me. As I keep saying, he's a
very good
generational
player.
talent. He's a fabulous player. But
Yeah,
looking at the rest, I mean, Colwell's only young and just starting out, so. But then you look at the rest of them and you think there's not exactly a lot of choice there. I mean, this
but
defence.
Cowell's playing in a bad side, and he's not doing much because I think he's a good player,
He's
but
only just.
he's in a very bad side.
He was at Brighton on loan last season. He was decent, really good for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but now he's in that Chelsea side, and they're awful. They
yeah,
look awful.
yeah, they're not a good side, but I think they'll improve though as the season goes on. With all them players, you can hardly expect them to get any worse.
I don't know about that. I really don't.
Oh, they couldn't get any worse, could they?
It's possible, honestly, it's possible with Chelsea. Too many players who are not team players for me in that Chelsea side. They're good individuals, but they're not team players. And I think that's Chelsea's biggest downfall.
They've made a complete hash of the transfer window again after starting off when it looked like they were going to get it right. Started off with a
Yeah,
good start this time round, and then they've just I don't know, they just seem to have lost the plot and just throwing money around for no reason again. Sometimes it's better to
yeah.
just keep your money in your pocket. If you don't need, they didn't need Caicedo and Lavia. Let's be honest, they
No, they
didn't need
didn't, no.
both. They
No.
needed one or the other. What they should have done is when Liverpool agreed a fee with Caicedo, they said, okay, then have him. We'll take Lavia then, or gone and got Caicedo and left Lavia. I just don't understand the thinking of buying both. With the youth system they've got, I mean, Jesus, how can you? Why are they buying all these players anyway? When are these kids going to get a chance? And their goalkeepers, they're hopeless. And Robert Sanchez is your first choice. That's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, very much so, Chris.
But,
But even Conor Gallagher, I'm not happy with Conor Gallagher. When I've seen him in an England shirt, it's only been a cover, very wishy-washy, not the greatest player. He done very well at Palace, and I thought he was going to improve. I think he's gone a bit backwards, Conor Gallagher, for me.
yeah, he
Don't think
hasn't.
he gets involved enough.
Yeah, he hasn't worked out at Chelsea. Going back to Chelsea hasn't helped him. I think he needed to stay out on loan, just
Yeah,
or move away.
or be sold. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he's fitting in at Chelsea at all. It's just not working for him, and I don't think that's his fault. I think it was, he was at the wrong time, wrong type of player for what they wanted.
mm,
So,
yeah.
but you look at them. I mean, Sam Johnston and Jordan Pickford and Aaron Ramsdale. If that's your goalkeeping choice, you're in trouble as well, aren't you?
To be fair, Pickford's done nothing wrong for England, and he's been a regular. He's still, for me, one of the best keepers in English football. Well, I can see why people don't like him. He's got his failings, but he's never let England down. And, I'll have Pickford. I'll have Pickford. I think he's the best out of the English keepers that we've got. I'm not a fan of Pope. I think he's terrible with his feet. Don't get me wrong, Pickford's not brilliant. Pope is awful with his feet.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Ramsdale has got so many failings in his harmony. He's not one of the better keepers for me, which is why Arsenal were looking to improve on him. And I just don't think he's England material as well, if anyone's England material, because he's not the greatest agility-wise. He makes a good save, but the rest of his game, I don't think he's great at crosses. I don't think he's great positionally, but you can't all have an Allison, can you, in your side? There's
But
just not many of them about.
that's my point. Is I think you're right. The problem is, um, we got England just haven't got any good keepers. I mean, you're saying he hasn't let England down, but what you want is a keeper like Allison or similar, that actually improves the team. He just not letting them down just means he's okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean he's great,
Yeah,
does it? And that's where England. How have they got no keepers? England used to
I've
have
never
great
said
keepers.
I never said that he's a great keeper,
No, but I'm just.
but in England terms, he's as good as what we've got. You
But
know,
how has
there's
it
not
got like
many out
that?
there. I don't know. It's just a dearth of keepers at the moment. I don't know why.
Uh, it's, it's shocking because he used to have what Clements and Shilton at once. Basically, I
Yeah,
think Clements was far better than Shilton, but I mean, I don't think
yeah.
Clements wouldn't have been beaten by Maradona with that handball, would he? Let's be honest. He'd have just taken him
No.
out. He'd have just gone straight through him if need be. That's the difference. Is
Yeah.
Clements would have stopped it no matter what. Shilton was a dick. I don't understand why Shilton's so highly rated. I got to be honest. Every time I saw him, he was poor. Especially, and when they
Oh,
changed the rules, when they dropped the back pass, he was abysmal because he couldn't even kick a ball. But
no, his kicker was terrible. I've always been a Clements fan. Really good keeper. Never let anyone down. Good in the air. Yeah, he was one of the best England keepers for me. But there's no one who stands out like he did at this present time, keeper wise.
no, I mean even like afterwards you had like Chris Woods, who was a really good keeper. He wasn't like the better like Buffon level or anything like that, but he was a very good keeper.
Yeah,
It's
there's not many of us.
quite weird. I wonder where they've all gone. Maybe it's just not fancy enough these days. They all want to be flair players, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So left back, does that mean it's Chilwell and Colwell are the options then? It must be. He must be bringing Colwell into play, cover left back, mustn't he?
Yeah.
And he's putting. I get putting Alexander Arnold in midfield. I think he's better there, but you don't need Calvin Phillips then in your squad because you've got Trent and Declan Rice who can play the holding role. So why even bother with Calvin Phillips? Oh,
I don't know. You got Rice in there. I'm not Trent's biggest fan as a defensive midfielder. I think he's got talent, absolutely talented. But I don't like him in the defensive midfield. I don't think he's very good defensively.
but
I think he's
he is.
great on the ball.
That is
I
the
think he's great on the ball.
That is the thing. He's got fantastic reading of the game. If you watch him when he plays in like that, and he's the one all the time. He's the one that's coming over on the cover. He's the one that's like in the Newcastle game. He's the one that comes sliding in to clear the ball when it gets in behind the two centre backs. He's the one that's covering. He reads the game really well. His problem has never been his actual defending as such. One-on-one defending is a different thing. One-on-one, he's not the best. He's a bit weak one-on-one defending. He's not, but it's not his game at all. He's not really a fullback. He was a midfielder. He was converted to play there because we didn't have a right back. And we just needed someone who could play at right back, and it was just a case of have a go and see what you can do. And he turned out to be really good at it. But one-on-one
He's only
defending's a
he's
weakness.
only young yet, and I do like him as a player. I think he's a very talented individual. I just don't think that he'd be a really good defensive midfielder. I think as an attacking midfielder, central midfielder, yeah, I'll give him a go. But I don't think he's that good a defensive. But that's only my opinion, of course.
Honestly, he's not a bad defender at all. People keep tearing into him, and he's actually he reads the game really well. And the only problem he had is he was caught up with balls in behind him because he was up attacking as he'd been told to do, and that was not his fault. That is the fault of the centre backs and the midfielders who are supposed to drop in there to cover when he goes forward.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Okay,
see that. That'd be a problem.
what used to happen is, in the old days, what you'd do is when your fullback went forward, you had only one fullback ever went forward at a time. And so all you'd do is you'd stick with three. You'd always have three players that stay back. So it'd be the two centre backs and say if the right back goes forward, the left back could stay in. Pretty much similar to what Liverpool sort of do with the inverted fullback. You know, the actual back line stays pretty much like an old school defensive line where the three stay back. Except Robertson obviously doesn't quite understand what he's doing because it's completely different to his strengths. He's bombing forward. He's used to playing. What changed is now is normally you had a defensive midfielder sat in front who'd drop in, so the centre backs had spread out and would take up those wide roles of that the full backs would normally do. And what's happened with Liverpool is the centre backs haven't been filling in behind the defenders very well. You know, the full backs when they go forward, they just haven't been filling in that gap very well. And that's been a problem Trent's had rather than anything else, in my opinion. By the way, somebody he's saying about the commentating bias against Trent. He's saying he was watching the Newcastle match. Can't, I don't know anything about it because I didn't have commentary on my watch of it. But he's saying they were tearing into him in the first half, but when he was playing really well in the second half, they didn't even mention him. Well, I'm not going to. I'm not. The commentators are only there to cause problems. They're not there to pick out good stuff. They're there to be arseholes. Let's be honest. And the pundits, all they do is they just want to be. Yeah, they just want to stir up trouble. So if you've got a nice easy target, they just dig at them until they're not. I mean, they used to have a go at they'd have a go. I remember it was Ozil always used to get it at Arsenal, even though he covered more ground than anybody else. But they'd be shouting about how lazy he was because you couldn't see what he was doing, you know, because
Yeah.
they weren't bright enough to see. And it's the same with Trent. They don't. If he's not anything he does wrong is immediately attacked, but they ignore anything he does right totally. But there's loads. It's not just
What's
him.
your, yeah. What do you think on the picking of Jordan Henderson? Now, I've got no problem with Hendo being in the England squad per se, but because he's playing his football at such a low level now, well, as far as I know, it's quite a low level anyway. Uh, do you think that just gets waved by because he's still a decent player, or would that affect his selection?
I think long term you've got to be thinking about it. I mean, you're looking at what's the option? Calvin Phillips is in there and Conor Gallagher. I think you've got to say, well,
Yeah, fair
I
points.
think that's
Fair
where the
points.
problem lies. Is there's just no other fucking option other than he deserved to be in there. Could be said, I'm not sure if how bad the Saudi league level is now. Because they must have must have some frigging teams out there right now with the money they've spent. I mean, you know, they've got also half the Liverpool squad: Mane, Henderson, Firmino. I suppose, yeah. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo's shown him he's well past it, and he's still managing up there and stuff. So can't be that good, I suppose. But yeah, it's difficult to know without watching it, but you've got to. It does have to long term. You do have to
Yeah,
question whether it stay in there. That
yeah, I'd say so.
except that the problem is, you know full well that it won't matter, don't you? Because he won't care. This is Southgate. He'll just pick whoever his favourites are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's why I'm not his biggest fan. He's a liar. He said he was going to pick players who were performing for the clubs and on current form who are playing well, and then he picks Harry Maguire for every squad. And he
Hmm.
can't even get in the United side. He can't even get on the bench half the time for the United side. Yet he's picked constantly. You know, what's message is that to players who want to play for the country? It's out of order for me. That's why I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah, there is no sense behind his picking. I mean, which I'm trying to find reasons for these players why he's picked these players. And the only things I can think of is the other options must be awful, but there must be better options than some of these. I can't believe Calvin Phillips is the best option to play in England midfield. I'm sorry, there must be better options out there. I mean,
Absolutely,
Curtis
but
Jones, Harvey Elliott. Who else was playing? I'm trying to think who else was playing the under-21s. Any of them would surely be a better option than him.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else played for the under-21s now in the Euro. I can't remember who was their midfield. Oh, it's James Garner at Everton.
Mm.
He's a decent player. He's better than Calvin Phillips.
Anyone's got to be a better player than Calvin Phillips for me. I think he's absolutely awful. Why City paid 50 million for him? Did he pay for my Leeds?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand that at the time, and I still can't understand it. Absolutely awful player. Offers nothing.
He really isn't. He isn't. He's lost his way. He was quite good under Bielsa, but
I think he's done a job under Bielsa. I think he's done a job under Bielsa, but I thought he was outstanding. Every time I watched him, gives the ball away. Not the fittest of players, and okay, done well under Bielsa, but he's not the type of player you want in your national side to take on these really top teams. I don't think he offers enough. Now, Declan Rice, for me, he hasn't had the greatest start for Arsenal, by the way, but he is an absolute quality player. You know he's a quality player just by looking at him and the way he handles himself. I see nothing of that in Calvin Phillips whatsoever.
No, that's what I mean. You've got to be looking at under-21 squad to, who can you pull up from there,
Yeah.
or late bloomers in the, England players. There's got to be somebody better. And I know Garner played right back for the under-21, so that might make it difficult to pick him, but there's got to be somebody to choose from.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It looks an awful squad to me, but
Yeah,
who am I? Depend on the results. It'll depend on the results, I suppose, whether he's vindicated in who he's picked.
And not being funny, but you're only playing Scotland and Ukraine. Ukraine, whose players, kind of most of them are busy fighting the war. So it's not even it's not even a full team that they're going to be able to put out because they've lost a lot of their players to the war, and then Scotland.
If I can just mention, I want to try and sign Mikalenko up for that army effort to get him away from the Everton team because he's absolutely awful.
He's not even your worst fullback though. That Scottish lad Patterson. My God, he's abysmal. Every time you watch him, you think, does he know how to kick a ball? What on earth was the thinking when you signed him? And Rangers fans think he's great. I couldn't understand it.
Have you ever seen a worse back four than Everton yesterday? Of Patterson, Mikalenko, Michael Keane, and Ben Godfrey. Have you ever seen a worse back four in your life? Because I haven't. I know I'm getting off the subject here, but that's the worst I've ever seen.
To be fair, that's a Doncaster Rovers level back four, that, isn't it?
I think Doncaster would be pretty annoyed if you said that to the trust.
Yeah, I used to live in Doncaster. I used to go there a lot because my mate was playing for them. So they were League Two then or non? They were non-league when we first got there and got promoted to League Two, I think, if I remember rightly. That's a long time ago now. But yeah, I think I'm probably thinking of them at that time when they were non-league, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, they're dire. Honest to God, absolutely dire.
Actually, we might as well talk about the game. You may as well have a good moan about how bad you were in the first half, but how now that you've got better, you're going to win the league.
Yeah, things can only get better, as they say. But I watched the first half. I didn't actually watch the second half. I was that disappointed and frustrated, and I had to stop swearing. So as I was on the live chat with the Everton lads, and they were all saying the same, and I had to get off at half time. I was wanting to swear all the time, and I was shouting at every player, and to be honest with you, they were absolute Dobbin. Dobbin was like a donkey. I know they call donkeys Dobbins, but he he was every touch went out for a throw-in or went to another player. He was absolutely awful, and I had pretty high hopes for him. Of course, he looked awful, absolutely awful. And that defence, they got ripped to bits by basically part-timers at Doncaster. I know most of them will be like professional wages, but not high wages. And they ripped Everton to bits. They could have been 3 up at half-time without a shadow of a doubt. And I was so frustrated that I turned the telly off half time and was getting updates on the game just to see how he done, because I'm an Evertonian, but I couldn't watch that. And I believe second half they played all right. I watched some highlights this morning to see a couple of good moves, but they are only highlights. But it was absolute. And Onana is the biggest fraud in history of football. Everyone's saying he's going to be this, he's going to be that. Good young player, loads of. He's absolutely dire for me. And I've said it since the first few weeks I've given, to convince me that he was going to be a good signer. And you know what? If you could get 15 million for him, we paid 30. If you could get 15 for him, I'd have him right out the door. I think he's absolutely awful. He's lazy. And I don't want him in Everton's side. Rant over.
If we'd wanted to keep it short, I'd have just asked you who you rated the Everton side. Right, that's
Not
that
many.
then. Let's move on. So you didn't even see Beto then?
No, I've never seen him live.
I heard he's Tony's favourite player.
Is he? Yeah?
Yeah, Beto.
You've got to get away from Beto jokes.
Oh God, the jokes are this bad, and Seamus hasn't even done an appearance yet. Wait till he joins it. He'll be gutted. This is his element here.
Yeah, but Beto, I've watched the highlights of him, and he had a couple of good chances at the post. Everton post a couple of times in the second half. And but the first half, he never had a shot on target. Never had a shot. I'll get one shot, wasn't on target. But it was absolutely dire, and I had to take it off. But once we get our players back, we'll be up and running.
Well, yeah.
That our Seamus.
Running down the league and out. Hey, here he is. Here's Seamus. We've been telling all your jokes for you.
What, did you guys also hear about the kidnapping at school?
What?
Go on.
Yeah, did you guys hear about the kidnapping at school?
No, go on.
No.
Tell us.
Oh, he just woke up.
Oh, God. That's worse than our ones. At least ours were football related.
How are you doing, Seamus?
I'm alright, Billy, I'm alright. What about you? You must be euphoric. Everton finally scored.
Two in one game.
We're on the march now. We're on the march.
Yeah. Gonna win the title next month. Be just like Carlo's back again. Hey.
Did you watch any of the tips?
Sadly no, I didn't watch any Premier League football this weekend.
And he wouldn't have watched the Everton game because he didn't want to jinx them.
Yeah.
Did you watch Everton's matches, Billy?
Yes, I did, yes. I went to the first half of yesterday, but come.
We both gave you the solution for all of Everton's trouble. It's clearly you. It's clearly you.
Yeah,
You need to stop watching them.
Well, I think so as well.
Try it, Billy. Try it 1 week. See what happens.
Well, he already
I'm
did. He
being
switched it off at half time this time, and they go on and score 2 goals and win. I think we've solved it. You and Seamus and jinxes.
Yeah, I think you could be right. After yesterday, I'll be taking it off a lot more often, I can assure you.
Oh God, I couldn't bring myself to do that. That's the problem. I was glad I did this last week as well. Should we move? Well, actually, should we go to the Premier League matches from the week next?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Where are we? So where do we start?
Chelsea Luton.
Yes, that's right. Chelsea Luton. Luton was so bad.
Yeah, I've seen the highlights of that. They're not much to beat though, are they? They're going to really struggle in this cycle environment. And,
Oh, they're terrible.
yeah, Chelsea are a very poor side, but they beat them 3-0. I think that shows how bad Luton really are if Chelsea can beat you 3-0.
I think it kind of flattered them as well. They weren't 3-0 better than them, were they? Or, I don't know if either of you two saw it. I did. I didn't think they would.
See the highlights of it, that's all I've seen, and it's mainly Chelsea, but they don't convince me as a side, I must admit, Chelsea.
No, it wasn't a very good. It wasn't like they absolutely hammered Luton like you'd think.
Luton.
But Luton just didn't have anything. They've got nothing up top, but really they've got no real quality. So they were doing all right, as in like they were pretty much they were there. I mean, there is no doubt Chelsea are a better team. Don't get me wrong. They deserve to win. There's not that's not. But I think 3-0 flattered them. They weren't that good, Chelsea. But sometimes games like that can be difficult when you're much better than the opposition, I suppose. So it might be Chelsea. It might be just what Chelsea needs to get themselves going. To be honest, sometimes it can.
I can see that.
Should we move on to Saturday, the 26th? Bournemouth against Spurs. Anyone see that?
Just before we move on, Chris,
Uh-oh.
can you name any Luton players off the top of your head?
Yes,
No.
I can. Lockroy, who had a heart
Injured?
attack.
What, injured or something?
No, he had a heart attack in the Championship playoff game.
Yeah.
And had heart surgery in June, and now he's back playing in the Premier League a couple of months later, and he's back in the Wales squad. Just got named in the Wales squad yesterday, so I thought that was quite nice. Lockroy or something. And then there's Collins up front. I watched the game, mate, so I should be able to name them all, but I just can't remember the names.
No, it's just a roundabout way of me saying it seems like they lack quality.
Oh yeah, they do. They've got no quality at all.
Now, I could name you Tahith Chong.
Chong was one of their better players in midfield.
I think their keeper's name is Kaminski.
Something like that.
He has some ties with Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, Kaminski. Is it Kaminski? I'm getting him
But
mixed up
those
with
are
Kirkes now, the left back for Bournemouth.
No, but those are the type of links even I can produce.
Yeah.
There's Mpanju because he came up the league with them from National League all the way to Premier League, but they only have stories and don't seem to have quality. I'm a bit surprised it just seems accepted that they're not even gonna make much of a work of surviving in the Premier League.
No, they don't seem.
No, I can't say.
They don't really have to fight either. They don't have to. They just don't really have anything. I mean, it's a shame, but they don't have that drive that like Sheffield United had when they lacked quality when they came up. They just. But maybe this season might be enough for them to go back down and buy some quality coming up next time. To rebuild with maybe.
And they're getting a new ground, aren't they? They've got a new ground starting, and they've done a lot to Kenilworth Road. It's not the
Still a
it's
great
not the
road.
lowest attendance in the league no more. Bournemouth have overtook them now to be the
Hang on.
lowest.
It just hit my mind now after seeing the names. They've got Mr. Marvelous playing in midfield.
Yes, yeah, Marvelous de Cambers in midfield. Yeah, that was the other one.
Mm.
and
Yes,
and
I
and,
knew
he,
there was somebody.
and he's partnered by, yeah, he's partnered by someone who Everton fans thought was going to be marvelous. Ross Barkley.
Yes, of course, yes. Ross Barkley's just. Yeah, of course, he was making his first start, I think. If I remember rightly. He was.
Another
He
name I
wasn't.
don't want to mention.
He wasn't very good. He was.
No, he was marvelous.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
It wasn't marvellous, no.
He was very poor. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to Bournemouth Spurs? Because
Yeah, I've seen the highlights of that as well, if you can call them highlights.
I was actually impressed with a few of the Bournemouth players. Looked quite good. You know, quite stand up there. Left back Kirkes. I like the look of him. Only young, Hungarian as well. So you're thinking the Hungarian side they could have some side in a few years because they're starting to come. There's quite a few young players coming through from there. And they've got another centre back. Is it Abby? No, something I can't remember. One of their centre backs looks really good as well, Bournemouth. But overall, the team just isn't anywhere
Is it
near
Giovanni? I think it's Giovanni.
something like that. Yeah, it's definitely a foreign name like that you just when you. I should look it up. That'd make more sense, wouldn't it? Rather than just saying it's something like that.
No, it is Giovanni.
Yeah, so that sounds right. But I can see if I see it written down, I'd recognise it because I made a point of looking on the back of his shirt the first chance I got because obviously no commentary. Yeah, yeah, they were really good. I was really impressed with a couple of their players, but they're definitely nowhere near Tottenham. Though
No.
Richarlison still was awful again. I don't get it. Why he's putting him up front? It's terrible up
No,
front.
he should swap with Son for me. It should
Yeah.
be a straight swap for Son. Go in the middle. I think he's better finisher. I think he gets into better positions. I don't think he's great in the air, but he's certainly a better forward, central forward than what Richarlison is. He would be better on the wing for
Well,
me. But
I'd rather have the better aerial threat coming in from wide areas, getting onto the ball. You know, and
yeah,
run rather than the centre forward anyway, for me, in the modern era. In the old days, I understand why you'd want the better centre forward, the header of the ball to be the centre forward, but these days, you want him coming in on a run, on the ball being crossed in, and him coming in from the other end, the other side. Oh, I think
yeah, I
I'd
get
rather
that.
have Richarlison on the wing for that as well. That would actually be a plus for
Mm,
me. Yeah,
yeah,
Tottenham still do look good though, to be fair. They're looking really good under Postecoglou.
yeah. He seems to have done well with them. I wasn't a big fan of his. I know he's come from Celtic, and I thought he might struggle a bit. I know he's got a bit of quality about him, but I thought he might struggle when the opposition's a lot better than it was in Scottish football. But he seems to have done nothing wrong up to now.
Oh, they'll struggle when they get against the bigger sides because they can't defend. That's their weakness. But they weren't really tested against Bournemouth, was the thing. Bournemouth just aren't very good attack-wise. That was the problem is. But going forward, Tottenham are really good, and that's what Postecoglou brings: is attack. His teams attack and attack and attack. Basically, if they can, they just throw throw everyone forward. That's what they do, and it's great to watch. It's really entertaining. So. Yeah, I think it'll be a good addition.
Yeah, yeah.
Not sure how they'll do league finish wise, where they'll finish in the table, but they'll be really good to watch, which is what you want with Tottenham. That's what they're known for.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but an easy win to be honest. So move on to Arsenal Fulham 2-2. I didn't actually watch that one, but
Again, I've seen the highlights.
that's all I.
Arsenal haven't got Arsenal haven't got off to the greatest start, to be honest with you. They haven't looked great. I know they've got points on the board, but they haven't looked great, Arsenal. They're lacking a goal scorer. I know they scored a few goals, but I think they're lacking you know, Balogun.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, I like Balogun, but they don't look as though they're clicking at the moment. I think they will. And Declan Rice isn't one of the best at times either. For me, he's always been the focal point, certainly at West Ham, and he's not quite there yet. I know you've got to get used to your teammates, and I'm giving him as much credence as I can, you know, because everyone knows he's an absolute quality player. But he just hasn't clicked yet at Arsenal, but I think it will.
From what I've seen of Arsenal the last few games, I didn't watch the full of this one. I've only seen highlights, but from what I've been, reading and that, it seems to me the problem is Arteta again. Is the issue? I mean, he's playing Thomas Partey at right back instead of alongside Rice, where it'll be a great partnership. That'd be a fantastic midfield, Partey and Rice together. They're playing him at right back so he can play as an inverted fullback, so he doesn't have to. I don't understand why Gabriel's not getting a game now when he looked really good alongside Saliba, and Saliba and White just don't look as good together. And then you add that to his obsession with no matter what, even when they stay opposition are down to 10 men or whatever as soon as he gets a lead, he just wants to put on 17 defenders to hold on to it rather than looking to go and put the game to bed. I don't understand what's happened. He's gone really cowardly. He just really is looking to hang on to every result rather than just go and win the game. You know what I mean?
That's how Fulham got back in the game. They should have been dead and buried at 2-1. They should have. Arsenal got off to a bad start. They were up within a couple of minutes. And then Arsenal done what Arsenal should do to sides like Fulham. They ran them ragged. They scored 2. Were in the ascendancy, and then it stopped. And Fulham got back into the game later on, got the equaliser. And as you say, they should have gone all out to win the game. Maybe 3-1, maybe 4-1 they could have. But they never, because they sat back.
Went Fulham down to 10 as well.
Yeah, I watched the last 10-15 minutes of this match. Arsenal were doing pretty well. They had already taken the lead. And then Fulham went down to 10 and Arsenal completely stopped playing.
Yeah.
That sounds like what I was told, yeah.
This is completely... They were starting to drop down after the lead, it seemed. But once Bassi got his second yellow, Arsenal just stopped playing. It seemed like they just thought they'd gotten over the line and didn't need to play.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem that with Arsenal at the moment. They switched off in a couple of games they were seeing out the 3. And I think they've got to address that if they're going to move forward.
Yeah, they've been lucky to get the points on the board they've got, to be honest.
Yeah, very much so.
Sabian, yeah, that's it. You're right, by the way. I just spotted what you typed on Discord. Sabani, yeah, that's it. So what's next? Brentford Palace. I didn't see that one either. 1-1.
I didn't even see the highlights of that, I must admit.
I haven't seen anything of that. Do you know anything about that one, Seamus?
I watched the goals. It was a good goal by Kevin Schade. And it was a scruffy goal by Joachim Andersen. That's about the knowledge I have of this guy.
Okay. We'll move on to Everton. The mighty Everton getting thrashed 1-0 by Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's a hammering when Wolves score against you, to be fair, because they were having like 65 shots before they scored. So they must have had some hell of a amount of shots to have scored against you.
They had a few chances actually, but Everton should have won that game. Same as it's exactly carbon copy of the Fulham game, first game of the season. Everton played some decent stuff, had some gilt-edged chances, and never actually took one. And then the nervousness creeps in. They started getting a couple of chances, and they end up scoring. And it was always likely when you seen it, the way the game was evolving, that Everton chance after chance after chance, playing some decent stuff as well at times, to be fair to them. And you always knew that there was a danger of Wolves catching them, and they did. And it was so disappointing as an Evertonian to see that it was exactly carbon copy of the Fulham game. And for us, bottom of the league with 3 games gone. That's as much I can say about Everton.
To be fair, it will get better.
Because it can't get any worse.
It absolutely did.
We've been doing these all day, Deeps. You just been missing it. See, we've been going at this for like for about an hour before you got in. Sorry, I'm gonna stop.
But
now.
how?
Sorry, I just want to apologise to the listener.
But how much worse can it get?
Wow.
They play shitty, they lose. They play well, they lose. There's nothing that can change.
Well, apparently, Sarr was apparently man of the match. So,
well, for Everton, it was Branthwaite who finally Sean Dyche gave him his chance, and for Everton, he was probably our best player. Maybe because he replaced Keane, that no one wants on the side, but Branthwaite come in, done a really good job. But we're always liable to concede goals, and if you concede goals and don't score, there's not much out there for you, is there?
I think Everton should look at Shasaka Kalaitis. 6'6". Yeah, 6'6".
Right, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, 6'16" centre forward. Saunders would love him, wouldn't he?
But he's been scoring goals as well, hasn't he?
He scored 1 goal. He's
But that's for
Everton.
For Everton, that's a lot.
That's the golden boot.
Exactly, that'll be their top scorer ever.
Yeah, things are going to change. Believe me, things will change at Everton.
You willing to bet on it?
Yeah, I'll bet we don't get relegated there.
How many more of these can we get in? We must have done 50 before he signed in.
Yeah, you've got a forward in, obviously.
Got a couple of them, they got that kid as well. Though they were all
It looks awful, but he looks awful. But he's only young, Yamiti, but he didn't look a player to me, I must admit. He didn't look a very good player. But he's only young, he's only just come into the side. He's still adapting to the country, so I'm giving him a bit of leeway for now and hoping that I'm wrong about him.
So what you're saying is he sounds like a perfect Everton striker then?
Yeah, in the Maupe mould.
Yeah, the modern game Everton forward, perfect. Can't play football, brilliant. We'll sign him. How much do you want for him?
Yeah, I'm giving him time. He's adapting. He's only just come from sport, and maybe he's got something about him. Obviously, someone's seen something in him, but we'll see.
You just have to hope that someone isn't Stevie Wonder, aren't you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why is it that that's the only blind person anyone knows? When it comes to a blind, when you have to say a blind person's name, the only one that comes to mind is always Stevie Wonder. Is there anybody else in history that's... Oh, what was the name of that? No, that was Deaf Woman, wasn't it? Helen Keller.
Yeah. She was deaf, blind, and dumb, actually.
Was she? She was blind as well. Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Could have used it then. I was trying to think because I was trying to think of somebody other than Stevie Wonder to say, but yeah.
Laura Ingalls is the other one of the TV program. Can't even think of the name of the TV program now.
What was that? What's
Yeah,
that politician as well with the I know.
the Labour,
Yeah,
yeah, Labour politician,
I used to hate
David
seeing him.
Lucas.
I didn't realise he was blind, and I used to see he'd be on the TV and he'd be looking everywhere, but at the frigging bloke who's doing the interview, and I'd be thinking, the rude, arrogant bastard. And then found out he was blind. That's why he was looking.
That was David Lucas. He was a
Yeah.
damn good politician, and by the way,
I've got
I
it.
liked him. David Lucas, Sheffield fella, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah. We'll move on to the next game now. Man United, Nottingham Forest. Now this one I did watch, so I can actually talk about this one. I know because I knew Seamus wouldn't be watching it, so I thought I'd see if I could jinx it. Bloody didn't work though, did it?
My
And
jinx
what did
is
you say?
stronger than your jinx. My jinx can beat up your jinx.
Yeah, I don't know, but they did. Yeah, they. To be fair, that was a close run thing. If Forest had actually gone out and attacked earlier rather than leaving it till like 2 minutes from the end. I mean, sorry, it's God's sake. I was thinking of a different. Sorry, start again. I was going to say they either do. What I was going to say is they either do either attack last minute, just leave it too late like they did against Arsenal. Is what I was trying to say. This time they go out there, they take a 2-0 lead, they're strolling it, and then they just sit back and try to defend. I mean, they just seem to want to defend first and foremost, and that's the problem. They can't. Why can they not just keep attacking? Surely they've learned from the Arsenal game where they sat, where they left it too late to get the points. And now against Man United, they've got it. They got the early lead, playing well, and then they just sit back and let them pick them off eventually. It's really must
Yeah.
be horrible
I
being a
couldn't believe
Forest
you
fan.
went through. Couldn't believe you went through, to be honest with you. I expected United to, get back on the wagon and start,
Oh, they were
getting
awful.
some good results.
United
But,
were awful.
well, yeah, I never seen the name.
Oh, they were abysmal. They really weren't good at all. I don't think there was anyone in that team that could come off the pitch and say I had a good game. To be honest, I don't know what's happened to a lot of their players, but not one of them looked really good.
They're all good.
They just don't look right at all. They really look. They just look off this season. I don't know what it is. I've
Oh,
said
well,
I think it might be the fit, the pre-season's messed up and that, but they should be coming to somewhere near fitness now.
we're just missing David De Gea. Everybody is just sad.
Could be, yeah, maybe that's what it is, and maybe they're all just like you, sad.
Or
About
maybe,
De
maybe,
Gea going, obviously. I mean,
maybe our players are just so used to the keeper bailing them out that they don't actually care about doing the job.
yeah,
And our new keeper is like, okay,
he's not very, he's not very good, is he? Let's be honest. What was that? What was he doing when he fell on his backside?
no, I would have understood had he fallen over or tripped forward, but how did he trip backwards?
Exactly. I mean, why is he going backwards in the first place? He should have been coming out to close down the angle.
Owen even didn't even manage to get the shot in. Actually, he was deflected. Rassi tried to block it. He deflected it off of our knee.
It's just
Oh,
sometimes it just doesn't go for you, does it?
it's like he's just. I don't think he's brilliant, but the luck is not on his side.
No, you're not playing well at all either. It doesn't help. Sometimes when the luck's not with you, but you're playing well, it doesn't matter, does it? But when you're playing badly and the luck's against you, it's a freaking disaster.
Good to watch them.
Well, Well, it's good for everyone else to watch. Yeah, I certainly enjoyed it. Though I really thought Forest was going to get you. I really did. That's how bad.
Oh, they probably would have ended up with a point if not for that penalty.
And the red card.
But what was that penalty?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It was not
I
convinced the
don't care.
decision's
Look,
correct.
I don't even care if there was a foul or not. I think there was a dive from Rashford, so it should have been a booking for simulation regardless.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It wasn't a. It was a dive. So
He's
Even
not
if there
fighting
was,
at all. Is he,
even if there
Rashford?
was, even if there was contact, even if there was foul, there wasn't enough to get him down like that.
no, he's not having a good season either, is he, Rashford?
No, no.
Yes, no goals.
Yeah, he's not had it at all.
I don't understand. I don't understand his game because he looks threatening when he's playing from the left side, but he looks threatening in the central positions. But he looks like out of. He just looks lost in the sea when he's actually playing as a centre forward.
Hmm. Yeah, when he runs in from wide areas and he plays in the centre for a period, he does look like a real striker. But then as soon as you put him in as a striker, he doesn't look right at all. It just doesn't look like he understands it.
Yes, he ends up in similar positions, but doesn't seem to understand when he ends up on. It's hard to explain, hard to understand.
And it's,
Similar positions, but different outcomes. I don't know how.
yeah, he just doesn't look like he's comfortable when he's playing in the centre. He doesn't look happy at all, does he?
No, he's got off to a bad start this season, and I expected better from Mark Rashford. I rate him as a player, but
No,
when I've seen him this season, he's awful.
but he does tend to like play in patches. It's patches of really good form, and then
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, he'll suddenly still go on a goal scoring run soon, and everyone will forget he's been playing badly.
Yeah,
he was very poor at the start of last season as well. But so was the whole team.
Yeah, yeah. Let's be honest. You didn't start season well. Maybe it'll be a similar. Maybe it's a similar story this season. Maybe they'll get
Only
going.
just that we got more points.
Yeah.
We played horrible and lost both our first two games last year at least.
Yeah.
It's 2 wins out of
can,
2 wins out
hasn't
of
Mason
3.
Mount played, Chris?
No, not good. Not good at all.
Not good, no.
He's not
No.
fitting in. He doesn't know his role at all. There, he's getting in. Bruno and him are getting in each other's way completely, and
Yeah.
it's just not
And now he's
working.
injured. And now he's injured. He didn't play. He didn't play against Nottingham Forest. He was injured.
Oh, he didn't play against Forest, no. I never seen the game, no.
I thought you were
Yeah, he
asking
was
me how
in-
he's playing in general. Sorry.
Ericsson started in his
Yeah.
place and actually scored.
Ericsson.
Yeah, it's not.
Sorry. I thought you were just asking me. He's been poor this season, Mount. Ericsson was good. Ericsson was better, but still.
But he would be better because he's better at playing slightly.
Yeah, he plays slightly deeper. Rather than what I don't understand, you're short of a winger, attacking. So somebody to play the wide forward role. Mount had his best season when he was playing the wide forward role. Why is he not?
We're actually short in midfield, and I know it's someone like we used to make fun of and everything, but it seems like we're actually missing Fred. His energy, his work rate. No, I'm not trying to be funny and anything. His energy, his work rate, and everything. It just seems like there's Casemiro, there's nothing in the middle, and then there's Bruno and
Yeah,
Mount and Rashford and everyone else. Like,
yeah, they're all too far forward. There's nobody actually in the middle, and
yo,
Casemiro's trying to chase after them most of the time. It feels like he's playing too far forward now. It doesn't look right. What was I going to say? Just quick one. The Champions League draws in. So Group A is Bayern Munich, Manchester United, FC Copenhagen, and Galatasaray. Group B
oh
is
wow,
yeah Bayern Munich. So you'll
horrible
get to
for us.
play Harry Kane. Group B, Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and Lens.
Wow, easy group for them.
Wow, this is Arsenal. Group
I'm
C,
surprised they didn't get Bayern.
yeah, that's true. They're probably saving them for the next round to knock them out. It's a nice easy run for Bayern then. Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union Berlin. Group C. Nice to see them in there. Somebody different.
Nice group. Nice group.
Yeah, interesting one that is. Napoli and Real Madrid. Ooh, that's tough though for Braga and Union. Group D, Benfica, Inter Milan, RB Salzburg, and Real Sociedad.
It looks a weak group on
That is a
paper.
weak group, isn't it? E is Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, and Celtic. Speaking of weak groups.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Group B says I'm weak. Group B says hold my beer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Group D. Well, what a weak group. Group E. Yeah, you haven't seen weak yet. Oh God. And then
Oh,
F is PSG, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, and Newcastle United. Now they're
group
out.
of death.
Yeah, that's
Group
not
of
an
death.
easy one. And then Group G, you've got Manchester City. Oh, what the fuck? The phone's going mad. What's going on? Group G is Manchester City, RB Leipzig. I mean, why are they still allowed to play in the same competition as RB Salzburg? I mean, surely this was supposed to be just a one-off anyway, where they were allowed to play in the same competition. Anyway, RB Leipzig, Red Star Belgrade, and Young Boys. Group H, are they be playing at Wankdorf again, Young Boys?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they don't always, do they? That's the thing, oddly. Group H is Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Royal Antwerp. And now Barcelona are desperate to want them to get through, aren't they? And Man
Yeah,
City,
but
they've given them
we're
about
just
as
looking
easy a go
through.
as they can give.
I was just looking through the teams, and it seems like there are a lot of, on at least on paper, weaker sides.
Mm.
Who did Liverpool get?
Same team as Everton got.
I was just asking because it's usually Liverpool who got this. They're not in it this year, are they? No.
Piss off. Fucking Everton fan taking the piss. I mean, come on, about a European draw. I mean, that's taking the piss. Well, an Everton fan thinks he can take the piss out of somebody not being in Europe.
That's all. I just forgot.
Did ya? Did ya? Yeah, of course you did. Well, I believe that. Yep. They'll have to draw next, won't they? For
Yeah.
the UEFA. So I'll check that later.
No,
Haven't they got the
The- I-
Europa League draw done next?
I don't think so. I don't. It's Thursday, so I think the qualifiers are gonna take place today.
I thought they do the draw. They used to do all the draws together, didn't they? One after the other. They doing it different. What the fucking hell was the point in that?
Who
Everyone was
knows?
out there for it.
Nobody knows. Justin Arling Holland wins the UEFA Men's Player of the Year.
Yeah, hardly a surprise, is it?
It is a
Imagine-
surprise. It's a surprise that Messi didn't win.
That's true. They were probably looking to give it to Messi, but you know they couldn't figure out where he was playing now. They're like, he's at Inter. Where's he listed? Why isn't he listed at Inter Milan? That'll be what they were thinking.
Literally crickets, Tris. Crickets. That's a joke.
Actually, no. That was just something that was because something came to mind. What happened to the court case against him? That was supposed to be dropping it. You know, they were supposed to be blocking the name into Miami. They took him to court, remember, and won the case saying they couldn't use it as a trademark because it was too similar to Inter Milan.
All right, so then.
That was a while ago when they were before they even started. That was a couple of years back, and yet
Yeah.
still using it. I wonder what's happened about that.
Maybe it's like their internazionale.
All right.
Don't know. Strange.
Internazionale.
Yeah, it's
You
Inter
don't
Milan.
know, as in Jamie Carragher trying to say Inter Milan to Rafael.
Oh yeah, and he didn't understand the fucking word, did he? He's just sat there like, what? Oh, that was on the video thing, wasn't it? Everybody else,
Yes.
Micah Richards, wasn't it? Was crying.
He was crying. He was
Yeah.
crying even
Oh,
before it was over.
that was hilarious, actually. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. That was class. So anyway,
How did he think that if Rafa isn't understanding Inter Milan, how is he gonna get Internazionale?
well, you never know, do you? It just,
It was worth the shot, but
yeah,
go
I
on.
think it was just desperation at that point. Yeah,
Right, so we're on now. Oh, go on. Are we still carrying on the league?
yeah, Brighton
The
versus
Premier League
West
thing?
Ham. I watched that game.
Yeah, I watched that game, yeah. To be fair, West Ham deserved to win that, and
Yeah.
they played well. I was surprised that Brighton didn't offer a bit more, the way they've been playing. But you can give credit to West Ham, and they went top of the league at the time. I thought West Ham played really well. And I'm not a big fan of Moyes, as you know, but I thought West Ham played really well
And
and
Brighton
deserved to win.
absolutely shockingly bad.
Yeah.
They were, I mean, even Mitoma could just look like he couldn't dribble past his own feet, let alone against a player.
Yeah, they looked awful.
Oh, I don't think. The only player I think that turned up for them was Gross.
Pascal Gross, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Good
him.
player. Yeah, I
I
do.
think
Yeah.
he's heavily underrated. I don't know why he wasn't bought from them. Too late now because he's like mid-30s. But when he was not long after he arrived there, he was stood out for them like a sore thumb. Somehow nobody wanted him. Maybe because he's not fast enough. People seem to like players with pace, don't they, these days?
Yeah.
But yeah, West Ham absolutely battered them, really. Even though they had so little possession. What was it, 18% or something ridiculous?
Yeah, 17, I think.
Was it 17 in the end? It kept varying during the game. I think the most they got to was 19%, wasn't it? Over the time elapsed. Hey,
Yeah. Nothing worked for Brighton. Nothing went at all for Brighton. Everything they tried didn't come up. One of them days, possibly, but they didn't look good at all. And they've looked great up to now. But they looked awful against West Ham. But that's taken away from West Ham, who played really well and well deserved to win. Who's next,
yeah,
Stress?
I've realised what it was afterwards. It's the UEFA Awards. That's what it is.
Right, okay.
That's what it is. That's on after the draw, not the Europa League and Conference League draw.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Because sorry, it was. That's my mistake. That's why it's there. Like all the people. I was thinking, why are all there like like Rangers people and people like all the Europa League people there as well? But that's why they're out there. It's for the award ceremony. Because the Haaland winning the thing and Serena Wegman winning the Coach of the Year award and stuff, and Pep winning the Men's Coach of the Year award. So they're all invited to that. Anyway, sorry, Brighton, West Ham, we'll go back to that. Yeah, I thought West Ham did really well.
Yeah?
Did you not see any of it, Seamus?
Ah, I watched the goals. What a touch! What a touch and finish by Jared Bowen.
Fabulous goal.
Yeah, it's playing well, Jared Bowen.
He's a player, right? To
Heavily
be
linked
fair,
with Liverpool. Heavily linked with Liverpool at one stage, wasn't he, last year? And
a couple of years ago, I think
wouldn't it
that
be?
was.
I don't think he's a salary replacement that people are talking about, but I think he'd be a good sign of any team. I think he's a good player. Uh, Maybe not a salary replacement, but would do a good job in most of the top teams.
You can't replace a Salah, though. Let's be honest. There's certain players you just can't replace. You just have to.
No, we can't. No, no. But on the Liverpool side, they were saying about getting Bowen for Salah. He's not a Salah. He's never going to be a Salah. But he is a damn fine player. I
Just a
damn him
fantastic
side,
player.
definitely. Yeah. Works hard as well. And
Yeah.
seems a nice guy, actually. Comes across as a nice guy, you know.
Doesn't seem very bright though.
Yeah.
He was defending David Moyes, which.
You can't blame him for that, can you? It's his
No.
manager. But he is doing really well. And it's a wonder someone didn't come in with a big money offer for him in the window, to be honest with you. Maybe he's not for sale, and he's not for sale. But I thought one of the bigger teams might come in for him. Maybe Newcastle, maybe Tottenham, if you can count them as a big side. I thought someone might have come in and took a chance on him. But I'm not sure. It'd probably be a hefty price. But I was surprised that no one mentioned him.
I think West Ham don't really need the money after selling Rice, though, do they? So
No, possibly. Yeah, you're possibly right there.
I think that's the reason why nobody's come in, is because they would have just said, nah, it's all right. We don't need to sell. We
Yeah.
don't want to sell. But yeah,
Yeah, he's a lot of there too. Yeah, good player.
certainly he'd make a massive difference to our Newcastle side. Huge
Yeah.
step up. That's what they really lack, is quality front. Yeah. Anyway, should we move on to the next? What's the first game on Sunday? I've forgotten now. It was Burnley Villa. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why it's forgettable. Burnley just aren't good enough, let's be honest, to play the way they can.
No, they're going to struggle a bit this year. I thought they'd be a bit better than what they were up to now. What they are up to now. But they're lacking something. I think they're lacking quality. I think they try hard, but they're not going to be anywhere near as high as what people were forecasting. People were saying that, they're a mid-table side. At the moment, they don't look like a mid-table side to me.
No, they're definitely a relegation battle. They'll probably avoid. I still think they'll avoid it, but I think they're in that fight. They're going to be in there. They just haven't got any quality. I mean, I don't get the goalkeeper signing. I don't get a lot of their signings really. They've spent a lot of money and they don't seem to have really bought much in the way of quality players. They're just maybe they'll become quality players in time, but they're not ready yet.
No. No, I think they're going to struggle, Trish, to be honest with you.
And to be fair, they were playing a very good side in Villa.
Yeah, but they're a quality side. I know they had a really bad start to the season when they got mashed by Brighton, but they are a good side. There's no getting away from that. And they've got some really good players. I'd still like Ollie Watkins. I know he's in the England squad. And he deserves to be, for me. He's done nothing wrong at all. And I think he's a threat. He's a threat in the air. He's good with his back to goal. I like him. I think he's a quality player.
Works hard as well.
Yeah.
Just doesn't score enough. He scores in spells rather than. And then go for months where he can't score. He couldn't hit the side of a barn for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I'd still take him in most sides. I think he'd do a job for most sides.
And that's the problem I think they've got, is they're at the point where the level of players they need to improve on what they've got are the level of players that don't really want to join an Aston Villa. until they get
Mm.
until they get regular European football under their belts. Them players will start looking at them that can improve them. At the moment, they're kind of stuck in that limbo where trying to find players to improve is really difficult. So, but
Yeah.
you just throw money at it, but it's the only option. You do a Todd Bowley and just throw millions of pounds at everyone, but you don't really, they don't really have the income stream to afford to do that long term. They'd end up like Everton then.
They wish.
I don't think anyone wishes to end up like Everton. Let's be honest. Go around with a begging bowl to get your stadium finished. No, I don't think anyone wants to end up like that. Even Luton haven't had that much trouble. Freaking hell, Brentford managed to finance their own stadium without a problem. But no, not Everton.
We'll be okay.
All them brown envelopes to the council, and then he goes and gets caught for it. I mean, God, only Everton could have that problem, eh? Should we move on? Sheffield United, Man City again, entirely forgettable.
Yeah, City weren't good. I watched that game. They weren't very good at all. They looked very wishy-washy to me. Looked as though they weren't interested at times. Obviously they were, but they didn't. They didn't look great to me. And let's be honest, Sheffield United aren't up to much. But they could have easily got a draw there. Easily got a draw. Only for a great strike by Rodri. Yeah.
They equalised, didn't they? Really late on, and you're thinking, oh my God, they might actually get a draw here. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Now, the better teams seem to always find that little bit extra, don't they? And people call it luck. Is it luck? Is it tactics? The better teams, they seem to score late on, always get a result. And they done it, Man City. It's go down as a win for City, even though they weren't at the best, nowhere near the best.
But when it counts,
and
they have the quality to just pop up and put the ball in the net. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah, absolutely, Trish, it does. And you've got to hand it to them, even though they were pretty damn awful, I'd say. Still managed to get it over the line. And that's the difference between the better sides and the average sides and the bad sides.
I had it on, but I can't remember. Did I remember rightly? Did Haaland miss a penalty?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Hit the post, went right along the line. He had a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you, Haaland. He missed 3 or 4 really, really good chances that you'd expect him to put away. And of course the penalty. And it just wasn't his day, I'm afraid. You get them days, I suppose, as a striker. Everything he hit, either at the post, went just dragged wide. He had a couple of claims for a penalty. They gave him a really rough ride to centre halves of Sheffield United. And he wasn't happy. If I could put him away, he never had a happy game. He never smiled once, and but he still come up with the goods. So who cares? I suppose.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add on that game, Seamus?
Thank me for all of Haaland's misfortune, because he was my captain in the Fantasy Premier League.
Oh yeah, didn't you drop Nunes to make Haaland your captain instead? Took Nunes from the team.
I sold him.
Yeah.
I got rid of Nunes.
Yeah, which I'm thanking you for.
Jinx.
I actually brought in Mitoma as well. That's why Brighton struggled.
How many Everton players do you have in your fantasy football squad? Is it 25?
Look, I've got none. They're struggling so bad. Just imagine if I brought in 3 more.
Yeah, yeah, Bill, you're just shite then. You can't even claim he's jinxed them. That's it. Oh, bless. Where'd the hope, though? Then you could have blamed him for it. Oh,
Uh,
all right, should we move on to the most exciting game of the weekend?
It certainly was actually one of the most exciting games of the season.
Yeah, it was a bit. I love the finish. Yeah, Newcastle United, Liverpool, of course, we're talking about. Did you watch it all
Yeah.
the way through, Bill?
I watched it, but I watched it on my mate's phone on Sky Go. We were at a charity do in Gattaca, and they had no sport on, so there was all
What?
groups and that.
What
So
kind of
I
charity
watched
do
it.
is that?
A good one actually. We won most of the prizes, but
You must have been the only people there, because all the Reds wouldn't have been there.
it was absolutely shocking. But we were watching on our phone, and I watched all the game. But yeah, I thought it was a really exciting game, especially when Liverpool went down to 10 men, which possibly could have been 9 if the referee hadn't bottled out of sending Trent off after he'd given him a
That was
stupid red card.
yellow.
Stupid red card, the first one, and then, but I thought he was lucky to stay on the pitch, yeah. I thought he should have got maybe a red. But that's by the by. I thought one of the biggest decisions was the Virgil van Dijk one. At the time, I thought it wasn't a sending off. I've seen it again. I can see why it's given,
Yeah.
but I still think it was tight. I still think it was a close call whether he should have been sent off or not.
Good play by
But
Isaac, got himself across there.
yeah, he done well, and he was last man, I suppose. So you can see why it's given.
But if you look at where the ball is, he hasn't got control of it. So he's not, it shouldn't have been classed as under the rules of what's a goal scoring opportunity. If he's not got control of the ball, it's not supposed to be one. Because if you look at it, it's behind him almost. That's why he has to go through it. He's not actually taking it with him. He's got himself in front of it to cover it, to protect it from Van Dijk to draw the foul. So
it was very clumsy, though. It was clumsy by. Yeah.
I'm not arguing it's a red card. What I'm saying is it seems a bit harsh under the rules, because for me it could easily, you see a lot worse challenges than that, and not even giving us fouls regularly across. If you go and watch back all the games of that Premier League weekend, you'll see exactly the same challenge made multiple times, and not once is a foul given him. And probably there's probably 3 times out of maybe 40, 50 occasions where them kind of fouls have happened, and even a foul's given. So it's one of those.
Back to the game. Brilliant comeback by Liverpool with 10 men. I thought they actually played better with 10 men than they were with 11, which is a bit surprising.
No.
But I've got to say about Newcastle United, they started off great. Really, I thought they played well first half an hour. We're on top, had a couple of good chances. Maybe could have scored another. Almiron at the post. But you've got to say this about Newcastle. They don't go out to murder a team. They don't, when you've got the advantage. Against City, they went out to lose. They played Manchester City last year.
Yeah, they just
They didn't go out to win the game. They went out to try and get a draw. And that's why they failed against City. They never put City under any pressure at all. Same with Liverpool. They were playing well, got the lead, and done exactly what we were talking about Arsenal before. They sat back and hoped for a 1-0 win. And Liverpool, to their credit, took full advantage of that.
I think there was more to it than that. For starters, it was the way Liverpool changed their setup. We said dropped the fucking stupid inverted fullback system and just played Trent as a right back. And immediately they looked much better, because the only threat was down the flanks in behind Trent before that, because they were just hitting it in there for Gordon to attack him. Once he sat there as a fullback, all he had to do was hold position and just hold him up long enough for somebody to come over and cover, which is what happened. And Gordon isn't good enough to do anything with the ball. He's a terrible player, let's be honest. His only strength is if he can hit a shot. If he can run down, gets the ball over the top, runs onto it and hits a shot, that's it. If he can't do that, he's absolutely fucking hopeless, because he's got nothing else in his locker at all. Can't pass, he can't tackle, he can't cross. He's just a nothing footballer, really. Other than that, he should be a striker. To be honest, where he's playing for
You
England's
know
under
what?
21s.
I was disappointed with Newcastle, not just because they sat back. I thought they created a lot of fouls against Liverpool,
Oh, they
too
was
many. Joe Linton was could have
how
easily got sent off
7 or
because he'd
8
done
times.
three or four really bad tackles. And I don't like the attitude of their players when asking for send-ins off, asking for
And that's
yellow
sensible
cards.
booking.
I
But
know, and I
booking.
don't. That's what I don't like
How
about
did you
Newcastle.
not get one? When Trent was booked, did you notice Gordon after kicks the ball away just the next time? You know when he
Can't
got.
play out with that, to be honest with you.
I sent you that video
But
on WhatsApp. Remember where he kicks the ball away in front of the referee straight afterwards. The next time there's a free kick given, he literally boots the ball away in front of the referee, and the referee doesn't even have a word with him, let alone book him. And that happened multiple times. The referee was a homer, full
yeah,
stop.
they've got a bit of an attitude about them, Newcastle, that I'm not happy about.
Mm.
Which is the time wasting they do. Don't get me wrong, when they're on and they play, they're a good side to watch as well. But they have periods through the game where they start all this time wasting, little niggly fouls, getting on the referee's case, and I don't like that about them. And I think they're a better side than that. But I don't know why they start all these shenanigans about trying to waste time, trying to create little fouls, trying to break up play. As a spectacle, it went to the window after the first half an hour. For Newcastle's point of view, Liverpool obviously took advantage and two great goals from Nunez, you've got to say that. Two great goals.
They don't half like a late challenge. If you watch back, I don't know the amount of times the referee just waved play on and never once went back and even had a word with the player, kicking that well after the ball's gone. Joe Linton was one of the worst, obviously, culprits. But it wasn't just him. Gordon, all of them seemed to just take a whack at after the ball's gone. Clearly, after the ball's gone, then they kick. Then they go in and kick. It's blatant, and the referee saw it multiple times. And you see him and he's indicating play on. You're thinking, how is that an advantage when you should be booking their player and putting a stop to it? It's not an advantage for Liverpool. What you're doing is giving Newcastle an advantage because you're letting them kick the shite out of Liverpool players all the time.
You can still let play on and then book them afterwards.
Exactly, yeah.
Nobody can do that. You know what I mean? You don't have to stop the play to book a play. Let it play and then call him back and book him. But it never happened, and especially with Joe Linton, I would say. And I'm a fan of Joe Linton. I like Joe Linton.
Yeah.
I think he's a grafter. But he got away with quite a bit there. He got Joe Linton. And that's the Newcastle that I don't like. The nasty side of the game, the time wasting, the rolling around like Gordon does and things like that. I think they're a better side. I hope they're a better side than that anyway.
And they've got their assistant's a bit of a knob as well, a bit like Pep Linders. He's who wants to get himself in the papers all the time and wants to be
selling the short, putting my finger at the mouth.
Yeah,
and all that.
I bet he regretted that.
There's a picture of Klopp doing it back to him.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was. Nunez is just. I love Nunez. I really do. Gotta say, I read Jota's got an assist for what he did. The first one, if you watch it, he doesn't even kick it anywhere near Nunez. It happens that the defender makes a hash.
The defender got it wrong there.
Yeah, and flicked it into his path. Yeah, that'll count as a Jota assist. Stats are just nonsense. They really are. When you look at it compared to the Salah one, which was a beautiful ball, and then you think that Jota one, it's just a complete mess up by him, and he's still going to get the same, they're going to get the same point rate or whatever you call it. When the stats, it'll look like he's as good. Ridiculous. Did you watch any of it, Seamus?
I did. I'm not gonna say more. I had it on TV,
Right.
Go
and I
on, give us
enjoy.
your view on the
And
game.
no, I had it on TV. I was sat in front of the telly, but I wasn't watching it.
Who's
I'll tell you after the
yes?
live stream what I was doing.
Were you still? Were you doing? Did you have your other
I
half there for your? Your
I
two
I missed I missed the goals,
burgers.
and I missed the goals, and I was literally just in front of the television. I don't know how. I had to
I
like
can
watch
think of
the
a few.
highlights. I had to watch the highlights to catch the goals.
There's always one. I tell you,
Can
and
they
you
can
come
they
on
not
this
like
podcast with the cheek of doing that after doing that.
no? But surely after that, Nunez is gonna get into the starting 11 now.
Well, no,
Surely.
because you're bound to put him back in your frigging fantasy
No,
team, and
no.
he'll never get another appearance. That's it. He's done. He should be in the
But
bit.
I think yeah, from those goals, it's very obvious to see that if you give Nunez a chance and he doesn't have to think about it, he's
Yeah.
gonna hit the target more often than not.
I
It's
really like.
him having time. It seems like him having time is his biggest issue.
Yeah, some players are like that, instinctive. You put them in front, you just give them the ball, give them no time to think about what they're doing, just hit it, and that's it, and they're fine. When they have to think about what they're going to do, they can make a mess of it. There's a lot of players like that, to be honest, that are instinctive. It's not a bad thing. It's just the way they are. Oh, there's no other games, is it? Because it was no Monday game. I'd forgotten about that.
No,
Because of the
no one
Carabao
again at
Cup
all.
games. Because some of this,
What did you
some
guys
teams had
think
to
of
get.
Tonali? What did you guys make of Tonali?
He didn't have the best of
Not
games.
much, not much, I must admit.
All of
Go on,
their
Chris.
all of their passing was awful. That was their biggest weaknesses. They tried to play it in behind constantly. Tried to play it wide for the wide men to attack. Because obviously the space is out wide when you're playing against 10 men. Space out wide, but every single time they were putting it into. The passes were awful. Even when they actually reached the player, they were never good passes. So the whole team didn't have a good game, to be honest.
No, I thought Bruno had a very bad half an hour or something.
Mm.
I only caught the last
He
half
no,
hour or so.
to be fair, at times he stood out as I've got to say tactic, but I forgot what Bruno did. At times you could see he was quality, but at other times he was just he was
He
just
was
playing
getting
more.
caught out in possession.
Yeah, he was getting caught out busy, but at times he did some beautiful things, and then he'd some nice turns, stuff like that. But when he actually came, but the passing, every play, in fact, both teams, it must be said, were awful on the ball. Passing was abysmal. I mean, trying to play out from the back was terrible for Liverpool because they just crashed them into mistakes. But yeah, I mean, it was really bad game to watch in terms of the quality of passing. It must be said.
Exciting, though. An exciting game, I must admit.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Is that mistakes can sometimes make it more exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good watch, I thought. But I would say I think Newcastle had their own worst enemies, and I think that affected Bruno, to be honest with you. I think he's an excellent player. And I don't think them tactics that Newcastle employed, which was to sit back and not actually try and, win the game even at 1-0. They didn't look as though they were going to win. There was only going to be one winner, even though Liverpool were down to 10 men in the last 20. Liverpool were the better side for me in the second half.
Yeah, once
And
once Klopp made the once Klopp made the substitutions, it changed the game, didn't it? Completely. It just absolutely they didn't have an answer for it. I've got to say that once they lost Botman as well, they looked really really messy at the back. And Burns didn't have a clue how to handle. Dan Burns, sorry, not Burns. Burn. He didn't have a clue how to handle Nunes at all. I mean, he was giving him yards and he still couldn't get anywhere near him. He was still just running past him. before he could get near him. There's just not a chance.
Well, do you know when Liverpool were back to a flat back four when they went a man down? Don't you think Klopp can see that this inverted fullback role isn't working? Don't you think he should put his foot down and say, this is not working? I've got to change this to back to the way we were playing with a flat back four.
Oh, Linders has been on every single podcast I think in existence lately, telling everyone. I think our one's the only one he hasn't appeared on yet, to tell everyone how great this inverted fullback and how it'll work and how he's bet his year's salary on it working and all this. So I think I think Klopp's been talked into it, convinced it's going to work, and the stats will show. The stats will be manufactured to show that it works, and the results keep coming. So, but yeah, you think you'd see how bad it is and how much better Liverpool have looked every time we've swapped to a flat back four. We look so much better. I just don't understand the point in this inverted fullback nonsense.
Arsenal are doing the same. And it's not working with them either. I just don't see why, if it's not broken, why fix it? Arsenal were playing well last season, and they don't come to this inverted fullback position, and they're not playing as well as they were last season. It just doesn't seem to work for me.
Yeah, Arteta's as bad as Pep Linders, where he thinks he's thinks he knows better.
Yeah.
He has to show how clever he is rather than just getting
Trying to reinvent the game. Yeah, trying to reinvent the game. That's what they're trying to do.
And I just don't understand why, what Linders thinks he's achieving by doing this. I understand you want to get him with Trent on the ball in the centre of midfield and all over the place. So put him in the fucking centre of the pitch. Put him in midfield if that's what you want him to do. Don't expect him to do both, because it's not possible. He's fucking human. He's not Superman. He can't be in two places at once. I'm staying off my soapbox this week. I'm not gonna get on it. No. Right. Yeah. No. It's just all the. It's been absolutely everywhere, and it's really driving me mad. I was ready to combust inside reading some of the comments he made on podcasts and stuff this week. And you just, you're looking at it, you're thinking, this guy is an absolute fucking moron. He thinks he's so convinced he's a genius that he's an imbecile, if you see what I mean. You know what I mean? The cleverest people know they don't know everything. The more you know, the less you do, the more you realise that you don't know enough. You know what I mean? There's so much more to learn. And whereas he's one of those that thinks he knows better than everyone else, that he's the bright. But all he does, everything he was saying about, I did this, I did that. But then you read it, and he's saying about, like, he got this idea from Benfica, so you didn't think of this, like you're claiming. What you did is you saw somebody else doing it and thought, well, I'll copy that, and I'll claim it was my idea. Well, no, it's their idea. Like he's brought in the cages from Benfica, used to play street soccer in Benfica, and he's brought them into Liverpool's training ground, like, and stuff like that. But it's him. It's I did this. It's never we. And that for me should rule him out of a job in football, because it's a team game. Yeah. And he's not. He's like Fat Sam. That's why he's never been that's why he can't be a great manager. That's why he fails. So he fails to move on any further than, like, any step further up than he's ever been, because he's too much about himself and not enough about the team. And it's a team game. You have to be about the team.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Transfers. Oh, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you do read it, and all it is I. I did this. I did that. I brought this in. I thought of this. Literally, that is what he's talking about. It's none of it's about anything else. And then he'll suddenly, he'll suddenly realise that he's got to say something about. But Klopp says, You know what I mean? Something like that. But it's always after he said about what he's done. I've brought this. I've done this, and he's clearly lacking. Well, considering he so comes across as so arrogant and up his own backside, he clearly lacks self-confidence, really, because he's so desperate for people to think he's great. You know what I mean? It's quite worrying.
Yeah, yeah. I don't listen to him. I'll be honest with you. I've got no compulsion to listen to the man. To be honest with
Yeah, don't bother. You won't miss it. You're not missing anything apart from lots of eyes and me.
you. Right, transfers, Chris. Gone on this week. Nunes to Man City.
You mean Matthias Nunes? Yeah, he's with Tommy Doyle's going to go the other way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's only a loan with an option to buy Doyle.
Yeah, it's not the only one that's going there for part of this deal, though they're not. It's not. There's Santiago Bueno's moved there from Girona on the cheap as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a way of getting around FFP. Rather than paying them the money they'd have wanted, you just offer, give them a better deal on players they want from you, from your other teams. It just
Yeah.
feels it's wrong. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to have all these other teams. I really dislike the way football's going with all these feeder clubs and that. It's just wrong.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just cheating. It's just a way round FFP, and I really dislike it. Sorry, I'm back on my soapbox again.
And Beto to Everton. What do you think about Beto to Everton, Trish?
Apparently, I hear, apart from the fact that he's Ivan Toney's favourite player, I hear he's a bit of a beast. He's the best player in the world, a wonderful striker. He's unstoppable, and that was just on the Everton site last night after he made his appearance against bottom of League Two
Okay.
Doncaster Rovers. Oddly enough, that apparently is enough to mean he's the greatest player of all time.
He's one of them. He's not the best. Pele was better, I believe, but I think he's a close second. Better.
But you must be gutted though, because you lost Mason Holgate on loan.
Yeah, that was a bit of a blow, I must admit, but
Yeah, I know he's one of your
good
favourites.
explanation. Yeah, yeah. And he was only on 72,000 a week, so I think we should have had a collection for him and maybe a testimonial for him, but it hasn't come up yet.
Time for that. He's only on loan, so he can come back for next season. Don't worry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I forgot to mention on Wolves, it also signed a youngster from Libertad as well, Enzo Gonzalez, when we were on Wolves.
No, I must admit, never heard of him.
I know, it's a Paraguayan team, Libertad, so you're not likely to be honest. I'd be shocked if you had seen him. I'd be wondering what the fucking hell are you doing watching Paraguayan football, I gotta be honest. So what else happened? Chelsea lent Romelu Lukaku back to Rome, out to Roma for a €5 million loan fee. It's not bad. That'll nearly cover his wages.
Just about. I don't even look at it.
And they lent Andre Santos to Forest. See, I really don't like loans within the league. It's altering the competitiveness. It's really just feels uncomfortable. And they've brought in, they're bringing in Cole Palmer from Man City, it looks like. Which is an odd thing. Can somebody explain that one to me?
No, I've heard good things about that lad actually, Palmer, but I've never really seen much of him. Doesn't really get a chance in City's
left-footed right winger, very wasteful on the ball, lazy, but doesn't track back, very wasteful. Good shot on him, good skill, good technique and that, but he's not got very much in the way of brains and that. I can see why Pep doesn't want him, but I just don't understand why Chelsea want him. Can you explain that one to me, Seamus? I know you're very hot on all these Man City players who've barely touched the ball in a City shirt, somehow getting huge money moves to another club. Is he even there? Has he gone?
No, tell me this, Billy. If you, not if, Everton are in need of attacking firepower,
Right.
was he one of the guys in your radar? Would, maybe you wouldn't have thought he was going to be affordable, but hey, there's a young kid at one of the top clubs. Maybe we could loan him in. Did you think that way for him?
Hello, guys. Sorry, who did you say?
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
All
Did
right.
did you even consider or hope maybe you could get your hands on him?
No.
That says it
Don't
all.
think.
That says it all. No, I'm not trying to be funny. If the likes of Everton, the likes of Forest, if they're not looking at those players for loan, then why the heck are Chelsea spending 40 million on someone who's 21 years?
Exactly. He's not 19 or
Hard, yeah,
anything.
yeah, hardly managed to get into City's squad. I'm not saying first 11 squad.
Yeah,
Hardly,
it does seem
and
strange
it
to me.
doesn't. Yeah, and it's not like he's burst onto the scene and scored a few and created some chances, and they just kind of getting lucky with being able to sign him. No, he's been around for 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, and he's
He
Yeah,
made
it's
his,
not.
yeah, he made
I
his
don't know
debut.
much about the lad,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
he made his debut 2-3 years ago, and the most important thing for us to remember is City have already lost a left-footed winger in Mahrez. They've not brought anyone in to replace him.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
then
yeah.
they instead of trying him out, brought someone in and are selling him on. What does it say about him?
says he's
Yeah.
not good enough. That's why I don't understand this Chelsea move for him. I mean, I don't understand it because it's not like I've watched him and thought, oh, yeah, you know what, he'd be a really good player to get, to look at. I can understand what I get. I look at him and I think, don't see it. He was in the Euro final for England, and I watched him and I thought he was the weak link for my thinking. He kept giving the ball away. And yeah, he had some good shots and that, and he was dangerous attacking, but he was too wasteful on the ball for my liking. I couldn't see a player there that was good enough for the Premier League. Let's be
But
honest.
Chelsea already have a left-footed young attacking
Yeah,
English player.
Madueke, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Who looks a better player to my thinking?
Even if he isn't, it's not worth spending 40 odd million to replace him after 6 months. To block his path after 6 months. I just don't get the finances of
Yeah,
this move and
that's
also
some.
the logic behind it.
That's what I mean. If they didn't have that, they hadn't signed Maduaki. They've already got Sterling who can play on the right, and he's having a good season so far. Who else have they got? They've got a few other, I'm sure, in the youth teams and that they can play there. But they brought in. I just don't understand it. I really don't get it. It's one of those that you just think something really odd going on there. Who else has moved then? Oh, just because he's been linked with everybody seemed to want him. All the fans seem to obsess over this guy. Benjamin Pavard's joined Inter from Bayern. I do not understand the hype about him. I thought he was very average at best, but for some reason all the fans on the site seem to love him and be obsessed about him. I
Because nearly not 5, yeah, 5 years
got to be
ago he
5 years.
he scored a worldie in the World Cup quarterfinals.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's done in his entire career. Let's be honest. He's a very average player.
No, my impressions of him have been pretty clear from day one. He's a poor man's Lindelof, and Lindelof is not a world class player. I like
Yeah,
him, but he's not a world class player. So
yeah, he makes Lindelof look like a thug, doesn't he? Because he's really weak, Pavard. Too weak to
my
play centre back, and he's too slow to play right back.
no, my impressions of him is that he looks weak as a fullback. That shouldn't happen to suppose a centre back.
No, quite the opposite. You're right. Yeah, if anything, they should looking slow for his fullback. It'd be understandable if you're a centre back, but looking weak, you shouldn't be too weak to be a right back when you're a centre back. What else happened? Arsenal sold Balogun to Monaco. I think that's a huge mistake. I don't understand what they're thinking on that one.
The
Not
other
100%.
movies.
When they've got Nketiah, why wouldn't you sell him instead? And of course, they've also loaned Sociedad Kirantini.
Yeah, I was never a fan of Tierney, to be honest with you. Bit weak for me. Injured a lot, and I think they done well to get rid of him. If they got money for him, I don't know what they got. Whether they got money for him, but
They've only loaned him. They got $1 million.
how do I long? Oh, right,
Loaned
okay.
him $1 million. But yeah,
I don't think he's up to the Premier League. No, I don't.
always injured anyway. Even if he's good enough, it doesn't matter when you can't fit. If you can't stay fit, what's the point?
Yeah,
That's simple, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah.
it's just a really pointless signing for Sociedad as well. And then the Spanish league is very soft, so might be all right there. Liverpool have loaned Billy Cometio out to Dunkirk. Last chance saloon for him, I think, because
And Nat
he's
Phillips as
fallen
well.
behind Gerald Kwanzaa and people like that. So he needs to do well there, or he's on his way out. Probably is anyway. Phillips has gone to Celtic on loan for the first half of the season. Apparently, I thought it was a season-long loan, but apparently it's just the first half of the season. They've said. That's what the Liverpool announcement said, which seems a bit odd. And look like
And
about to sign Gravenberch from Bayern.
Timothy Castagna has joined Fulham from Leicester.
I think that's a good signing for Fulham.
And I just want to ask you one thing, Chris. Are you a believer?
Am I a believer?
In Carlos Believer.
Carlos Believer? Which one's that one?
Yeah, Brighton signed him as the likely replacement for Caicedo, Carlos Believer from Lille.
Oh, have I missed that one?
So you're not a believer.
Oh, I missed that one. I'm obviously not a believer. Oh no. I got the Ansu Fati one where they're in the middle of talks to get him, aren't they? Looks to be all done and dusted. Trust me.
And what about
Why?
what about one of the biggest transfers?
Why are they bringing Fati in? Because surely his best position is the same as Mitoma's.
No, Mitoma always playing on the right, on the left, and Fati tends to play on the right. Is his normal position.
Oh, I thought he was a left-sided attacker.
Well, I saw him play maybe he played on the left for Barcelona. I don't know. I've seen him as a kid, so.
But he's not played enough
he's
to.
2 inches, yeah. So
Yeah.
he's young enough he can work, and Mitoma I'm sure could play either side because he's. I think, to be honest, I think Mitoma might actually benefit from moving across to the other side. Playing against left backs, I think might suit him. Because left-sided centre halves tend to be tend to be mostly in the Premier League are right-footed, so that'd give him a chance to get at them.
Yeah, we were talking about Fulham before. Fulham could get one of the signings of the year, by the way, in the next couple of days. They're after Everton's star man.
Onana?
No.
Everton, you're going to sell better already? You only just fucking signed.
Ashley Young.
You know what I'm talking about. Everton's main man, the running machine.
Oh yeah, you're on about Iwobi, aren't you? Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He could be going to Fulham for 20 million.
20
what a
million
good sign
pesos.
for Fulham. He's going to Fulham for 20 million by the sounds of it. What a good signing he'll be.
20 million what though? I mean, nobody in their right mind would pay money to sign Alex Iwobi. Let's be honest. Only a complete
20
and
million,
utter moron would spend money on him. Sorry, when
20 million rupees. 20 million rupees is an overspend on him.
exactly, it's just even the Saudis wouldn't want him.
Well, that's a big transfer talk on Merseyside at the moment.
Yeah, I've heard that, but you just think nobody could be that stupid, surely.
But
I
maybe
hope they are.
maybe they can reinvest that money into Maguire and McTominay.
That's true.
Yeah,
That'd be a good double signing, wouldn't it? Hey, take Everton
yeah.
up a level.
That killed me. That would kill me. I
And
don't mind McTominay, but
Anthony
I
Marshall
don't certainly.
could have him as
Yeah,
They
well.
can't
no
afford.
extra
They can't
space.
afford his wages.
That's a fair point. Well, mind if they're looking.
Martial, I think Martial earns more than Van Dijk. Let me check.
Jesus, that'll sound about right for Man United, though. Um, while you're looking that out, I'm just thinking what else has happened. Mohamed Kudus, even to Ajax to West Ham.
Yeah, and I'm really good at Kudos.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be a very good player, but I haven't seen much of him.
yeah, not really. What I've seen of him don't impress, but that doesn't mean he's not good because like I've only seen a little bit of him. So, but yeah, I wouldn't have touched. Like I say, I look at the Ajax players. They play a certain way, which seems to make them look better. You know, people seem to think that because they're playing in that style, they're really good players. But I think it's just because they've got an Ajax shirt on a lot of the time. Because most of them you just watch, you think they're not very good. And
The Dutch league isn't great either, is it? Let's be honest
no,
about it.
they
It's
weren't
not
even
very
winning the
strong.
league, were they? Last season, didn't PS
No, Feyenoord won it.
Feyenoord?
Arnold
Sorry,
plus
I'm thinking
Feyenoord.
of
Yeah, Bayern.
yes, that's it. I was gonna say it's Thingy's old club, Ruud Hullitz. That's what it is, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
don't know about Ruud Gullit, but Feyenoord is Liverpool legend, Mr. Workaholic, hardworking dirt couch.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I loved it.
He actually went back and won the
Yeah,
league with them as well.
yeah, he did. You're right.
And my preliminary research says Martial is on 30,000 more than Van Dijk.
That's ridiculous. uh, that's great.
I don't
Only
know.
Man United could do that.
I don't
Unfortunately.
know if I don't know if Van Dijk earning 220 a week is true or not, but I am pretty sure 250 for Martial is actually accurate.
I think that sounds about right, to be honest. Um,
Mm.
who else? Cameron Archer's gone to Sheffield United from Villa. See, I don't understand. Cole Palmer's worth twice Cameron Archer. I don't understand it. Cameron Archer's proved more, got more before, got more games under his belt.
Kudus is worth less than Palmer. How come?
Well,
You just those things don't make sense.
Gravenbach's signed now by the looks of it.
Yeah, he
Alright.
must be happy.
Um,
Chuffed.
yeah, excited. Not a big fan, to be honest. I like saying I don't really think any of the players that have recently come to Ajax have been any good. I just don't think Ajax systems works anymore. They've fallen well behind the rest. The players they produce just yeah.
Yeah, they were being dragged up a few levels by a certain bald Dutch manager. Now he's left, so they couldn't even win the league.
I think it's more the rest of the league was so bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
No,
Not
no,
great.
Feyenoord did perform well. Feyenoord did perform well in Europe as well.
Yeah.
Past 2 seasons actually.
What else we got? Sorry. Yeah. It doesn't make sense though, because Kudus has at least played regular first team football.
And
Whereas,
he's impressed in the World Cup as well.
yeah,
Don't you
and
forget.
he's played in European competition. Cole Palmer is just had a few substitute appearances, and he's never really impressed. He's scored the odd goal, but like he's playing for Man City when they're absolute dominating teams, and he's come on. And, you know,
Palmer is 1 month younger than Anthony Elanga. He has 1 goal less than Anthony Elanga. One cost 10 million, another is about to cost 40. I just don't understand it.
it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I do not understand what Chelsea are doing this season. They started off looking like they'd sorted out all their recruitment issues, and now they look like they've just gone back to what they were doing before.
Buying anyone?
Bowley must be back in charge of it all. That's all. That's what it feels like. Vival's left, like you were saying earlier, Seamus. Like it just feels like Vival's left and handed the reins back to Bowley. It's really bizarre. I mean, they spent like over 10 million on the keeper from New England Revolution, that Georgi Petrovic, for a backup keeper. Why would you spend money on a backup keeper at that amount? You still haven't got a first choice
Because you
keeper.
can't.
But you haven't got a
No,
first
but
choice keeper.
yeah, but they need a first choice keeper. You're very right.
It's, they've got Sanchez they've already paid too much money for, and they still haven't got a first choice keeper. So why will you buy? You don't buy backups when you haven't got a first choice, do you? You buy your first choice, then you buy, then you consider a backup for him.
No, here is how things have happened. Just for the keepers, okay? At Chelsea, they sold Bondi. They brought in Sanchez. They loaned out that guy Slolina.
Kepa.
No, Slolina.
Oh yeah, Slovenia, yeah.
Yeah. They loaned him out. Then they loaned out Kepa. They brought in Robert Sanchez. They've got Robert Sanchez only. Now they're bringing in Petrovic. Why? Why are you spending money when you could have had at least two of those 3 or 4 keeper departures? Stay at the club.
Yeah, it's just a real mess, isn't it? It doesn't make sense. I mean, just keep that Slovenia and put him in the goal. Can't be wasted.
Have him be the backup. Have him be the backup, and if he is not good enough to be the backup, then sack the guy who recommended you to sign him.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes none of it. Yeah, it's just beggars belief. I mean, they're spending money for the sake of it, and I don't get it. I really don't understand it. Still, could be worse. They could be signing Reguilon to be their left back. I mean, anyone that had signed that clown, that's when you got to worry about recruitment, isn't it? Sorry, Man United are signing him, by the way, by the looks of it.
I know.
Just thought
This
I'd
is the
point that
reason
out
I
in
was
case
being
anybody
quiet.
didn't realise why I was saying that. Yeah.
That is another idiotic move. I don't care whether it's Region, Kukure, or anyone. If we have to sign a left back because Lux has done his leg, like seen knee, I don't know what he's done it for what is supposed to be a couple of weeks, might be a couple of months. I think we should shut down our academy if that is the state of the academy.
Yeah, all the academies are the same.
Yeah, if you haven't got
Unless,
one
yeah.
for a couple of months.
unless someone is like, let's say if Luxa is out for the whole of the season, then I can understand it. If not, then make do with the players you've got. Maybe move someone around. Maybe bring someone in. There's a fucking Alvaro Fernandez who spent a season out on loan and won young player of the year for was it Preston?
No, kind of. Yeah, no, can be.
You have either you use him or you sell him, and you don't sell him now. You sell him at the start of the window.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really bizarre situation. Clubs just don't seem to want to put the faith in youth anymore.
No.
And
No, they don't.
sometimes it makes sense to do so. I mean, for Chelsea, for instance, as well, they're in a similar position. But I'd understand if you were signing Cucurella to replace Shaw, whether he's, and even when he comes back fit, you're seeing him as a replacement, an improvement, or Reguilon, if it's seen as a long-term play. But to take him on loan just to cover.
And apparently the reason we're not quite sure on Cucurella's loan deal is because Chelsea don't want to include a termination clause for January. So it seems like we only want a player until January. Why? Use someone from the youth team.
Mm.
Yeah,
You,
you think so, but it doesn't work that way these days. Deep it's a waste of time, the academies. You get one player coming through maybe in every 5 years, and it costs a lot of money to run, and I don't see the point of them.
That's why I was really pleased to see Kwanzaa getting a go in the Newcastle game. He brought him on, went for it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
But then you look at it and you think, well, where did he actually come from? Did he come from Liverpool's academy, or did he get brought in later on? And that's the thing. That's the other thing, is it's really annoying is how many people will talk about as being from the academy, and then you look at him and you think, actually, he didn't actually come from Liverpool's academy. He's joined it at like 17 or whatever. A lot of these players, and that's just as bad. What's the point in an academy if you're signing players
yeah,
to fill it up? Like,
yeah.
I just wish they'd. No, I wish
wh-
they'd
then why do you invest in the
upgrade.
youth setup if you're not gonna make use of it at the moment of crisis?
That's exactly my point. Is that, you know, you've got all these kids, give them a frigging chance. Just don't put, you know.
Yeah.
He came through. Kwanzaa's one of the ones that came through. He's just Scottish. That was it. I remember there was something about him that made him. He's half Scottish. His possibility of playing for Scotland or England. That's it. It's about him. But like, you get a lot of them, and you think, you know, he's not one of them. But you get them, and they're like Harvey Elliott and that, and they'll talk about, and you'll hear them talking about how what a
Ben
great
Doak.
youth policy, you know, youth policy, and you're thinking, well, hang on, he didn't actually go. He was Fulham.
Yeah.
Like, I think the guy you can use for this example is Ben Doak.
Yeah.
He came from Celtic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying. I was trying to think of. Like, that's who I was thinking of because he's Scottish. I was getting him mixed up because Kwanzaa's half Scottish as well, or or qualifies for Scotland or something as well. Yeah, you
Or
get
like
them and you cost.
Scottish or something.
No, he is. He's
Or like
Scottish.
Scottish.
Sorry.
Scottish Scotch. Whiskey.
Billy's favourite.
Another one of those jokes. Anyway, boys, it's time for my tea.
Oh,
It's time for my tea.
is it pizzas and
No, it's actually full of chicken burgers. Why, I don't know, but that's what I'm getting anyway.
well,
full of
you
chicken
could
burgers.
cook for there. I think it's about time you pushed the boat out and did your own cooking for once and cooked her a nice meal. And cheer her up.
No, it doesn't work like that, Jess, in this house. We have blue jobs and pink jobs. I do all the blue jobs. I don't ask her to do any roofing, and she doesn't ask me to do any iron and cooking or anything else.
What you saying,
That's
Davis?
it.
I just read it's 40 million for Gravenberg. Wow. Bayern must be like, come on. They've doubled the money without having to do anything. They didn't even play him.
Fucking hell. Oh, this just feels weird.
They signed him for less than 20, now they're getting more than 40. Come on.
And I don't even see why Liverpool need him. We're speaking about the youth again. It's like, well, what position is he going to play? He's not a DM. He's not a defensive midfielder by any means. I don't know.
Even if he is, look, Chris, even if he is, like I pointed out in our chat, there's one thing that is surplus in Liverpool's midfield right now, and one thing that is lacking actually. What's surplus is under 23 players. What's lacking is experience.
Exactly. That's why I was so pleased with Endo, because it was exactly what Liverpool needed. There's a bit of experience. And now we signed another 22-year-old. Because it's not like we've.
Well, I'm experiencing hunger, so
Sorry,
I'm
mate.
afraid I'm off, boys. That's okay. Okay, boys, I shall see you next week. Thanks very much, boys, for today. And anyone listening, I'll see you next Thursday.
Everton's next victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Ta-da, Deeps. Ta-da, Trish.
Right, take care.
Ta-da.
Bye, Billy. A
Oy.
21-year-old midfielder isn't what Liverpool needed.
No, it isn't.
Sure, certainly not for 40 plus million.
I can't believe paying that much. Jesus. Oy. I just don't understand it. I mean, it just means Elliot and Jones got less chances.
Yeah,
And
you've got Elliot Jones, Soboslai, Bajcetic, all 23 and under.
exactly. I just don't see the need for him. I don't. I mean, you've got
And even
McAllister's only
Macal,
one.
yeah, and he's only what 25,
Oh, yeah,
if
24,
that.
25. I can't remember which. So I mean, it's just. Oh well. Hopefully, it'll turn out to be a great signing, and that he'll be able to ram it down my throat, say I was wrong. But yeah, I'm just not convinced he's that good a player.
Yeah, it is a win-win for me. Either he's shit for you, or he's good for Liverpool, and I can just
You can tell me
poke
I
fun
was
at you.
wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If he's terrible, you get to laugh at me because he's terrible. And if he's
No,
great, you get to
if he's
laugh at me because I
yeah,
was wrong. You're right. It is win-win for you, bastard.
yeah. Either it's terrible, and that's either it's terrible for Liverpool, or I can just laugh at you.
Yeah, you'll just laugh at me anyway. Let's be honest. It's jealousy. That's what it is. And when you're a male
Yeah, I'm jealous of
sportscaster
your youth.
commentator, you're
Yeah.
jealous of my youth and good looks. That's what it is, and my irresistibility to birds. You see, I'm so irresistible to birds. Even had one nesting in the air conditioning. That's why I could. That's why it broke. It was broken. That's what it was. There's a bird nesting in it. See, being stalked. Even the feathered kind can't resist me. You don't get. Do you call them birds? Do you call women birds in
Yeah, I
football?
know.
You do, yeah. Sorry,
I
I
know
wasn't
that.
sure if it wasn't. I just thought it
I,
might have
I
gone over
call.
your head.
No, I use that term all the time when
Ah,
we're
right. I
when we're
just
talking.
thought I'd check because I suddenly, you know, when you suddenly think, shit, I could be absolutely wasting my time saying this because you might not get it, like, because like most of the jokes I tell here, and the missus will just sit and look at me, like as if to say, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, you know what that is, right? No. Do you know that? Oh, and then you have to
No,
explain
okay,
it, and
okay,
it's
come on,
like,
come on.
oh,
Let's not digress. I'd like
yeah,
us
because
to
we never
end
do
this.
that.
Yeah, yes. Just to end this with my question for you.
Oh god.
No, yeah, the one Gravenberch or Amrabat. At this
Oh
point, who's
yes,
better?
yes, you were gonna. Right,
Who? No, there are a few questions like tagged along. At this point, who's better?
right,
In in 3 years' time, who is likely to be better?
right,
And who is a better transfer for either Manchester United or Liverpool?
right. Okay, start with the first one. Who's better now? I don't rate Amrabat at all. Every time I'd watched him, he'd been absolutely awful, and then apparently he was really good. He was terrible for Fiorentina, and then he went away for the World Cup, and apparently he was brilliant. So obviously I don't watch international football, and I couldn't watch the World Cup because it was pay-per-view, so I didn't watch it. And like everyone's raving about him, but he still can't get in the Fiorentina side. So
Well,
what's his
he's
chance?
on a strike.
Yeah, and
He's
now he's
on a strike and refusing to play.
yeah, now he is. Yeah, but I mean, I've never actually seen him play well. So I'd have to say Gravenberch, who's average, would be better than not very good. So Gravenberch right now would be a better player, and I'd expect him to improve and be better than Amrabat in the future. Though I'd also expect Amrabat to improve playing for Man United and working under a better coach. So, or what
Oh,
should be a better
Fiorentina have a good
coach.
coach.
Well,
Fiorentina have a good coach actually.
I'm
Vincenzo
assuming that
Italiano.
you'd have a better coaching setup right now under Ten Hag than they have overall, as in like the whole set of coaches. Because they don't just work with the head coach. Obviously, there's a lot more to it these days, isn't there?
No, but Italiano is one of the more impressive young Italian
Mm.
coaches.
I was just watching. You know what? I was watching French football earlier. Adi Hutter at Monaco, seeing how he's getting on because of Taki Minamino. looking quite good at times. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, digressed. And what was the other one? Who's likely to be the better signing? Ooh. See,
I
I
would have,
think
I would have, I would have asked who would you rather sign, but it's already been done. So
yeah, I'd rather have Gravenberg because I just don't see that Liverpool need Amrabat. He's no, I don't really. Like I said, I don't really rate him. So I've never seen him play well, but I think he might be what if he's playing a lot better now, playing like everyone said he was playing in the World Cup, and he plays like that for Man United, he'd be turning out to be a better signing because I just don't see what Liverpool needs Gravenberg for. So, whereas Man United clearly need Amrabat, so he should work out to be the better signing on that respect, and he'd probably be a lot cheaper as well, won't he? They were,
if
it's,
if
they
the
were
reported
almost
40 million is,
they were almost giving him away at one point, Fiorentina, before the World Cup. They couldn't get anybody to take him. And then after the World Cup, suddenly he's hot property and like they're able to charge a price. It's amazing how the world works sometimes, isn't it?
it's like the clubs never learn. You never buy players of an international tournament. You never.
But they all do it.
Yeah, it's like nobody learns.
No. It's just like they all, or maybe they need to keep relearning it because it's 4 years ago and they forget. But yeah, Inter will find that out.
When
Brilliant
was the
Pavard.
last? Yeah. But when was the last time a player who was signed mostly on the back of a tournament
Ooh,
performing well? When was it?
I think
I know Chikarito like qualifies it as being signed after the tournament, but that was already in the works before the World Cup in 2010.
I can't remember any. Because, I mean, people say things like El Hadj Diouf, but that was already done before
Ozil,
the World Cup.
Mesut Ozil, he had a good 2010 World Cup, moved to Real Madrid, did
Yes,
really
yeah.
well.
Yeah, but
I think
I think Real Madrid is a bit different, isn't it? Because you're playing in Spanish league and every team rolls over on it and has their bellies tickled for um, Madrid and Barcelona, don't they?
come on, but he was very good for Real. Come
Oh,
on,
he was brilliant for Real Madrid. You know, I like Ozil. I'm one of the few people I always stick up for him. But I'm just saying that you can't really compare that, a player moving to Real Madrid or Barcelona, because it's a really difficult. It's in a position that he plays, he should get fantastic stuff. But he was special for them. I agree. I loved him, and the fans still, they absolutely adored Ozil there.
and apparently Ronaldo absolutely loved him as a
Mm.
player. They
Yeah,
didn't, they weren't like best of mates, but
yeah.
really appreciated him.
They all loved because he created so many chances for everyone. I mean, he was a master at assists, wasn't he? He just would put the ball on a plate for it, made it so easy for them to score. His movement, his work rate. People say he doesn't do anything, but he's moving the defence around constantly. He's finding little pockets of space and then picking out beautiful little through balls that, like, it's not just. See, this is the thing people forget is it's not just where you place a pass, it's how you play the pass as well. It's what weighting you put on it. And also, he had the skill and ability to actually put it onto the stronger foot of the player he was aiming for. Whereas a lot of players, they just play it in the set general direction. You know what I mean? If you're playing it to Salah,
Yeah,
the right
you'd
ball
rather
needs to
him
go
have
onto
the
his left
ball.
foot. Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to be playing, but most players will just play it in his general direction and then let him sort it out. Whereas the best players, the Ozils and that, they will put it on his left foot every time so that he can do something with it straight away without having to take control of the ball. That's the difference. That's the Johan Cruyff level of passing. That's what he used to talk about. The right pass isn't just about hitting somebody in a space and putting it in the right. It's putting it onto the right foot as well for the person, not obviously the right foot. I mean the better foot of the person and stuff, and putting it with the right weight of pass as well. so that they don't need to take a touch to control it because they can just hit it first time if they need to or want to, things like that. It's that kind of skill. There's very few players that can do that, and Ozil was one of them. Shame what happened to him, the way he was hounded in England.
He was a target for the media, and an easy target.
Mm. And the thing is, they used to ignore anything that anything that didn't say he was like the biggest piece of shit in the world. They talk about how much he was earning, and then forget to mention the fact that he gave more than 50% of his earnings away to charity. I mean, how could you complain about someone earning a lot of money when he's not actually getting that much money for himself? It seems wrong, especially when they were the same one, the same people that would attack Ozil over how much he earned, and forgetting that he gave away over 50%, were the same ones that were writing the articles gushing over Mata's 1% initiative. When one Mata was giving away 1% of his earnings to a charity, and signed up a load of other footballers. Remember that?
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he managed to sign a lot of
Mm.
people
Yeah, people are.
to the 1%. But that shouldn't be news. That shouldn't be like
That
it's
should
only
be.
1%.
Yeah, that
At
should
the
be
end of the day, it's
minimum.
only 1%. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's 1% of 200,000.
Yeah, exactly.
1% of 100,000. 1% of 180,000.
It's peanuts, basically. It's not. It's money they won't even notice, and they'll write it off as a tax write-off anyway, won't they? You know what I mean? So it's not like it'll even be missed because it'll just come out of their tax allowance anyway. So they'll just reduce the tax they pay. So, whereas 50% and more than 50% he was given away, that will not come out. That you're not getting that much of a tax allowance on charity. So you don't have to do that. It wasn't like he was doing it because he was a Muslim either, because they only have to give away. I forgot what they have to give away. But it's nothing like that amount of money. I forget how much they have to give away, a percentage every year anyway to charity. If they're making more than a certain amount, they have to give away a percentage of. But it's nothing like 50%. Yeah, so it's not like he was doing it off his own back, out of the goodness of his heart, and he was being crucified for saying he didn't want to take pay cuts. Remember, during the pandemic, he was crucified for not wanting to take a pay cut because he said he couldn't give so much to charity then. It wasn't saying I'd lose money. He was saying the charities would lose money. So make up that. He was saying take it off my off. Yeah, but you can't. I'm not giving up the money for the charities that I support. And he got criticised for it. Yeah, and this was Arsenal obviously enjoyed that because it gave them a chance to put him on. Make him look the bad guy when they were the ones sacking people. And he was the one that was offering to pay the wages of the people so they didn't sack him. Do you remember? Because he was sacking the Gunnosaurus, the guy who played Gunnosaurus. Do you remember that? And he offered to pay his wages so he didn't have to.
I just realized I had my mic turned off, and
Oh,
I also realized it's tomorrow is transfer deadline day.
yeah, yeah. Do you want to do a? It might be worth us doing a special either tomorrow or Saturday to talk about it all
Let's
if we
see,
got
let's see.
time. Yeah, see if we got time. We might do. So we won't promise anything, but if we get time, we might do just run through of all the transfers over the full. We might as well do the full thing if we do it.
Yeah,
You know.
and maybe we can bring some other people in and do it at some other time.
Yeah, yeah. If we can get that, if I can figure out how to use that Streamlab, we can get people to actually call in then.
No, I was more talking about my heart and soul.
Oh yeah, if we do it at a different
The
time,
heart
Bobby Boy
throbber.
could come in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the heart
Oh.
throbber.
Oh yeah, we can do it at time. Oh. Now I see why you're thinking about doing it. Ah.
Okay, You
Alright, mate.
go. Okay, now I think it's time to say goodbye. You go get some sleep. I'll go
Yeah.
buy me some new pairs of underwear.
Get yourself some nice lingerie, eh? For the date, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you're so
I hope
excited now.
I hope
Get
nobody
the tissues
nobody
ready.
that knows me ever. I hope nobody that knows me ever goes this deep into the podcast.
nobody, nobody listens this long. Let's be honest. They all say they listen, but nobody ever picks up on these kind of moments, so I don't think they do. Anyway, so we'll see you next Thursday. Anyone listen? Oh no, somebody's still there. Well, he just tuned in now. Ah, see, nobody listens this long. Nobody actually listens to 2.5 hours of us chatting.
It was a mistake. Someone is here by mistake.
Yeah, it's my cousin. Cal, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not my cousin. I asked. He's Welsh. He doesn't like football. He's rugby. Strange boy. Don't get it. Somebody's gotta like rugby though, haven't they? I suppose. Bless him. Just got upset. What show you in? Like, you still in that BBC thing? He's gonna have to try and think of something quick.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. Going through the live chat.
Yeah, BBC paying the bills. Yeah, I didn't notice it was still going on actually while we were chatting. Because I was trying to edit as well. Keep up with the editing. It's difficult to keep. It's hard work when there's, when there's.
Okay, Cal. Okay, Cal. Just let us go with a quick question. Ask anything. Ask anyone. A quick
Yeah,
impromptu. Ask
come on, ask a
anyone.
question. Oh, this could take a while. You say quick, but if it is my cousin, he won't be quick. Are you coming for Chris? That was
Are
fucking.
you, okay, okay. Here's the question, Mr. Edwan. Are you coming for
Cold at that
Christmas?
year. That was fucking cold at that time of year. Not a chance. I'll get an extra chair. No, your mother wouldn't do that for me.
Okay,
No.
okay. It it might get me cancelled, but
Uh oh.
let's end this on a joke.
Oh god.
Since you mentioned a chair, what part of a vegetable can you not eat?
I don't know. What part of a vegetable can you not eat?
The chair.
Oh, oh no. Oh no, no. Oh. Yeah, I think you've got us cancelled. Well, it was a nice run anyway. Take care, everyone. Yeah, they never tune in. Can't say I blame you, Cal. Yeah, you're doing yourself a favour anyway, never listening again. Unless you only listen to this bit at the end each time, then in which case you may as well, because it's the best bit. That's how bad it was. I even messed up the beginning this time. I had to start it twice because it's that bad. Because I didn't even have it set to the right account. That's how bad it was. Oh shit! And I've just started it. What have I done? Shit! No, I don't want to set. No, I don't want to set. What have I done? Shit!
Yeah. See you next Thursday,
Yeah,
Cal.
see you next Thursday. Sorry,
See you next Thursday, everyone.
broke something. Oops. See you next Thursday. Bye bye. Right, so.